identify all the deceased. They have to recover physical evidence both inside the church and outside the church. They'll be examining videotape, and they'll also be conducting witness interviews of people who may have been injured or not at the hospital or in the area. There's a lot of work that needs to be done yet.
Yeah, videotape. We understand from our correspondent Kaylee Hartung's reporting that this is a church that would post on YouTube its services. So presumably there are cameras. We don't know about today's service, but give me an idea how investigators will handle any kind of videotaped material past or perhaps even from today.
Well, you know, many churches live stream their services every Sunday, Frederica, so they will obviously take control of any videotape that they can get today. But then, as you mentioned, we need to determine how the suspect chose this church to perpetrate this horrendous act. So that may involve going back and looking at videotapes from prior Sundays or prior services or even days. So again, there's a lot of work that needs to be done, but fortunately for the community and for everyone, the gunman is dead.
Yeah, and in terms of a relationship you're talking about, right? Whether this gunman has been in that church before, if that individual has been recorded in any capacity, if there has been, you know, any relationship established perhaps between that gunman and this church.
Sure. Well, as the woman told you earlier, in a community of 600 people in a very small church, the likelihood is that most people in that area know each other. So someone's going to know who this gunman is unless he's an outlier. And the motive is going to be the key, and that's what's going to be driving a lot of the investigation. And hopefully investigators are able to determine that motive fairly quickly.
Terrible, sad and tragic. Thank you so much, Matthew Horst. Appreciate it. And we'll be right back.
When Santa discovers the points of light.
If you hear something, repeat it, because a story is not a story if only one person knows it. And typically, someone tells someone something, right? So when you're looking at a small town such as Sutherland Springs, where you only have 400 people, chances are that this shooter either knew someone in that church or someone in that church knew him, or there's someone that this shooter spoke to about his intentions. Whether it was to go shoot 50 people, we don't know. Maybe there was just an issue with 1 or 2 people at that church. But again, if you see something, say something. If you hear something, repeat it. If someone gets offended, that's all fine and good. They can be offended, but at least we can start preventing things like this.
And you know, I was talking to former D.C. homicide detective Ted Williams as well earlier about the psychological impact of this, and I'm going to bring him in again, but Vincent, I'll stay with you for a bit longer here, because there's so many unanswered questions to be asked by law enforcement agents, and of course the members of that church, their First Baptist Church, will be asking many questions, and the top among them would be why. When you look at this investigation and where it is now, where it will go, walk us through the path.
Well, I think right now what, of course, the town wants to know is who and why. And investigators, not only to cement off what Ted said, are going to be looking in his car, but eventually they're going to find their way to this individual's house, to see what was in his house, to see if there's any clues of why he may have done what he did. They're going to check his computer, they're going to check his email, his phone, which may already be on his person. So, you know, they may be writing search warrants to get access to those things as we speak. I can assume that's what they're doing right now, because we definitely owe the people of that small town answers to what happened, why, and who did it.
Ted Williams, as you have unfortunately covered far too many crime scenes as a former D.C. homicide detector, also a criminal defense attorney, what questions do you have at this time?
Well, I want to follow up on something Vincent just said, and he's accurate and right, and that is they're going to be doing a scrub of his home, his residence. They're also are going to want to talk to many people in the neighborhood if if the person is from that neighborhood. And that's very significant. I would have to believe right now that law enforcement has a great deal of information on the person, one way or another, as to whether he's from that community. That community is going to coalesce around itself, and they are going to be the strength, and they are going to be able to assist law enforcement if he is from that community. So as Vincent has said, there's so much we don't know. And again, I'm being slightly redundant, but I'm hoping that there will be a press conference as soon as possible to allay not only that community, but the nation fears. Because when this happens, even in small town America, it's like happening in New York or anywhere in America, and everybody is on edge right now because of the unknown.
Everyone is on edge because of the unknown, and everyone is heartbroken. I'm reading that the church schedule was for a fellowship breakfast on Sunday mornings per usual, followed by Sunday school. And we now know that the 14-year-old daughter of Pastor Frank Pomeroy of First Baptist Church is among the deceased. And I want to talk about the psychological impact again, Ted Williams. We were talking about this, what the victims there on scene would be being serviced by those officers who specialize in that part of the investigation. But also now you have a 14-year-old girl. So now this is going to spill over into the schools, the teachers. They're going to have psychological evaluations of the students because it's surely going to impact them. Their friend who went to church Sunday morning did not leave that church service.
Well, it's going to impact the entire neighborhood, that entire community. They're going to need grief counselors, not only, as you've said, and I agree with you, in the schools, but anybody that's associated with anybody associated with that church. As we've represented here, this is a very small community. And as you already know, Adele, in these very small communities, everybody knows everybody. Everybody in that community, I would have to believe, is going to be impacted by this cowardly act that is taking place in God's house, a house of worship.
You know, Ted, you mentioned that 50 people, up to 24 shot dead, 20 wounded, 50 people in that church, and the town is about 700 people. So as you say, everyone knows everyone. They know the victims, they remember the family members.
I just did some quick math on that. 50 people in the church, 27 killed, 24 injured. That adds up to 51. Every single person in the church was shot. Hold on.
11:15 or so, when we got some people in our church, we have a deputy and some other people in our church, when we got a call that there was an active shooting going on down at the First Baptist Church. Those people, first responders, immediately left our church to come down and to help. Our church immediately went into what we do, and we started praying.
It impacts us all as a family. We're a family. So what it does, it causes us to stop what we're doing, start to pray, and see how we can serve. And that's what you're seeing right here. This community is rallying around these folks, and so we're just going to try to do our best to comfort and minister how we can.
We got called in the middle of our service down the road, and immediately the people that were my wife, who is a nurse at the hospital, local hospital, went into action. We have a deputy that was in there that went into action along with other people. We got ready, and then we just did what we do. We prayed. And you know, the Bible tells us that we overcome evil with good. And not evil doesn't overcome evil. Evil can only be overcome by good. And so we come together to do that immediately.
Boy,
it's devastating
he's
for us
awfully,
in our community, but
he's awfully relaxed, right? He's like smiling.
We leave our doors open. Our cars aren't locked. My car's running with the keys in it right now. I mean, we don't lock our doors out here, but why?
There aren't even words, are there?
No, there's no words. There's just, this happens in New York, in big cities. No one's safe. My dad's already taught me how to get the gun out of the safe and get them loaded. I mean, if it can happen here, guys, it can happen anywhere.
The people of South Sutherland, Texas, talking about the horrific horror that they underwent this today.
The horrific horror.
On the phone now is the Attorney General of the state of Texas, Ken Paxton. Mr. Attorney General, our thoughts and prayers of all Americans are with you.
Horrific horror. Hey, everybody.
We appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome to my show. Thanks for tuning in, covering the big news. I was going to come live with stuff out of Saudi Arabia. There's just a helicopter crash with 8 high-ranking officials. What's going on in Saudi Arabia is crazy. Directly linked to Donald Trump and Las Vegas. I was already going to report on that today. November 4th, it begins. I got a call where somebody said that after yesterday, it begins. And then that's what their sign said, too. It begins. Something started yesterday in Saudi Arabia. Looks like maybe war with Iran. I'll tell you about that.
I think it's really difficult, especially when
we're going to cover all the news. Richie from Boston channel was terminated, apparently. Richie from Boston, his channel was terminated. So take a look at that Twitch thing you see up in the corner, because who knows how long I'll be able to live stream on YouTube. I'm not calling anything fake today, that's for sure.
Days, weeks to find out and understand what the motive was if we ever do.
Yeah, clearly, he apparently, you know the area, so he drove away about 5 miles away in Guadalupe County. Can you discuss that? His SUV, there were aerial pictures of an SUV in a field. That apparently is where he was confronted by police at some point.
Yeah, and he obviously didn't get very far. Guadalupe County is I think, north. In my head, I've got it going north of Wilson County, and it's obviously a contiguous county. So, you know, thankfully they were able to track him down and get him close to where he, you know, left the shooting.
And your sense of when this hits a small town. I mean, in New York, we had the terrorist attack, which clearly was radical Islamic terrorism just this past week. We do not know the motive here. We do not know if it's domestic terrorism, international terrorism, a domestic dispute, just plain evil and hatred, and someone who is completely mentally unbalanced. Your thoughts on the Lone Star State waking up and
always
seeing
blaming the mentally unbalanced. Always.
You've got a sacred spot of people
unbalanced.
Who are praying, who
maybe balanced the wrong way.
To have an evildoer come in and perpetrate this horrendous crime.
You know, I think people never think it's going to happen in their communities. They always think it's going to be somewhere else, and especially, I think, in a small town that is, you know,
we'll
not
take calls
even
today.
That close to a major city. It's 30 miles from San Antonio.
We'll take calls today. I do want to go over I really do want to go over the coup that's going on in Saudi Arabia and the coup inside this country, the one that Donald Trump just started. Big deal. We're going into a war between factions, an all-out war between Donald Trump and what people call the deep state, who I have said were the same thing. They're not really. We just started an all-out war between Donald Trump and the so-called deep state, the Obama, Bush, Clinton cabal, who are about to be exposed. And it all ties back to Las Vegas. It all ties back to Las Vegas, the Saudis in particular. Really interesting times.
And so we've had, with the leadership of our governor, we've done a very good job of coordinating some of these horrific incidences.
Yeah, Governor Abbott, Greg Abbott, governor of Texas, has been phenomenal during his work after Hurricane Harvey in rallying the troops and organizing to make sure that the people who suffered there didn't have to suffer any more than they had already done so. And so I ask you, Mr. Paxton, with that in mind, knowing that Texas is a state that rallies together, already you have ATF Houston field officers on scene there, along with San Antonio ATF officers. Talk to us more about the coordination that may be taking place now. As you pointed out, this is a small rural town that will be needing the help of the bigger cities.
Well, and I think you'll see, just like with the hurricane and the flooding, so many Texans volunteered to step in, lots of charities, lots of churches. I think you'll see the same thing here. Texas has a reputation for rallying when we have incidences like this, and I believe you'll see the governor very involved in this. And I think you'll see, just like the last horrific incident, you'll see that he will do a very good job of coordinating efforts between, all the local, federal, and state authorities.
And how does your office come into play here?
So
sorry, I was trying to do something.
Two parts. We have law enforcement officers that we will step in if we're asked. We don't have immediate jurisdiction, but a lot of times when we're dealing with smaller counties, they'll ask us to come in and help investigate after the fact. And so we have a lot of resources and abilities to help those local law enforcement officials. We also, in this case, it wouldn't necessarily be needed, but we also will step in and prosecute if we're asked by local DAs. We don't have original jurisdiction, but many of these small counties will ask us. Obviously, this gunman's dead, so it's very unlikely we're going to have any prosecutions. But those are the two ways that we typically assist local law enforcement and local DAs.
And of course, this investigation is very, very much in the early stages, as this horrible tragedy struck there in this tiny town of Sutherland Springs, Texas, just less than a few hours ago. And so with that being said, what is it that your office may be able to help in regards to this early stage? What was the first thing you did as the Texas Attorney General, when you heard of this horrible shooting?
Well, so typically I'll follow up with my head of law enforcement, a guy named Dave Maxwell, and he will typically reach out to local law enforcement and just offer up our services. And generally in this state, people understand that we have, significant state resources that we can help apply to any investigation. So if they feel like they need us, we're there. If not, we just stand ready to assist.
And Mr. Attorney General, I understand that the governor will be on his way from Austin to Sutherland Springs. That
was my understanding. That was my understanding as well, that he would be headed down there.
As a Texan, as a father, can you wrap your brain around what we're learning today, that children were killed, children were shot, the 14-year-old daughter of the pastor was killed in this type of attack? I mean, as a country, what do we do? How can we get our arms around this and stop this insanity, stop this carnage that is continuing time and time and time again with these type of multiple shootings that end with either the suspect dead or the suspect, proclaiming some twisted cause?
You know what? It breaks my heart.
Hey, everybody.
I have
okay,
4
hold
children
on.
of my own. As soon as I heard that children were involved, it's
hold
obviously
on.
horrific.
I'll tell you guys what's going on.
Innocent people. But there's just something about children dying.
Let me do something.
That just devastates all of us. So obviously it breaks my heart. As far as what we can do in the future, I mean, the only thing I know, because
I'll tell you guys what's going on.
I can't necessarily keep guns out of the hand.
I mean, who knows?
You're
kind of seeing
somebody's willing to
what's
kill
out
someone.
there.
They're also going to be willing to violate a gun law.
But I'll tell you guys.
And all I can say is that
there's a lot of stuff going on in the world.
We have the opportunity to have concealed carry, and so if it's a place where somebody has the ability to carry, there's
Okay, cue musical intro. Boy, that's brilliant. I do think some things in the world are real. Like you guys. You guys are real. Most of you. Most of my listeners, I think, are not just in my head. I think I have the metrics to prove it. You've taken a leap of faith today. What is that sound? And I apologize if you take offense. I'm a little offended myself. Welcome to our show. Welcome to the future. What it is. joining you live from sunny California. It's a beautiful day today. I'm your host, Nathan Stoltman. I bring you the news, the real news. Damn freaking right I do. What it is, everybody. I know you want to see the live feed. Oh, some people commented. Sorry, I just wiped my face. Hey, everybody, how's it going? It is a beautiful day. I actually need to open the window. It's a sunny, sunny day in California. Wonderful. Went out, got some strawberries. That's what they grow around here. Excuse me while I drink this frosty beverage. And they're good. They're good. Can you believe that? It's November already. November 4th, it begins. Shit went down in Saudi Arabia. Is that what you guys want to get caught up on? They just, well, a helicopter just, I don't know, blew up or something. Big news. So everything's going down in Saudi Arabia. All of it has to do with Donald Trump and Las Vegas. And I was intending fully to go live today and tell you guys about Donald Trump and Las Vegas. I'm sorry, Donald Trump, the Saudis, and Las Vegas, and the current coup or consolidation of power going on in Saudi Arabia. How the party that is taking over is Trump friendly and Iran, anti-Iran. There was a missile launched apparently from Yemen toward the airport in Saudi Arabia and was apparently intercepted by Saudi Arabia. And it was launched by Hezbollah in Iran, and I think they took credit for it and said it was a success, even though it didn't hit anything. That has to do with what's going on. There's most likely a false flag. Things that are going on in Saudi Arabia are a big deal, big deal. And the people taking power there are very Trump friendly. I'll go into the details of that. The main guy that got arrested, I heard he's an investor in the Four Seasons. I haven't even had time to look up everything. Bin Talal, he's the guy that got arrested. And then Bin Salman is the guy who's friends with Trump. And implications for the consolidation of power by Bin Salman, I can give you his whole name, Mohammed bin Salman, are deep. The implications are deep. They're both very anti-Iran and anti-ISIS too. This has to do with ISIS. ISIS was involved in Las Vegas, just like they claimed they were, kind of, through a Zionist mouthpiece. It's weird. It's weird the world we live in. I have a more complete picture now. Donald Trump has been running a campaign to expose the deep state. I said before, perhaps erroneously, that Donald Trump was aware of everything and in control of everything. I kind of take that back. There is a deep state faction, which stems from the Clinton, Bush, Obama crime syndicate, I would say. And that cabal, and then that cabal is friendly with Saudi Arabia, with the Bin Talal side of Saudi Arabia, maybe their military intelligence, who are Wahhabis, right? Sunnis, I believe. I'm learning, right? I'm learning today. Saudi Arabia is the Sunnis, right? Yes, right. So pro-Sunni is this one regime, and they're against ISIS. So they're okay taking out terrorists. And I think this guy, Bin Salman, is okay with talking about extremist Islam. Is that what I said? Yeah, he's talking about moderating stuff. I'm just going to take out that. Oh, no, that's not it. Discord invite there. I'll take this down. Hey, everybody, happy Sunday. I did more than 12 hours yesterday where I was engaged a lot of the time. I'm going to do more today. We're watching what's going on the Fox and CNN. I'll take you back to that. Oops. I'll take you back to that. Let me go to CNN. But it's kind of the same story. A couple dozen people, like the numbers are 24 people dead, 27 injured in a congregation of 50. That would be 51 actually. So every single person inside was shot and we don't see anything. And apparently the gunman was killed by police and we don't know who he is. At first they reported those numbers like right away, immediately. 27 dead immediately on the scene. It just doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. Saw the same thing in San Bernardino. And then they retracted the numbers and they just said multiple. Now they're back to saying 24 dead, 27 injured, I believe. We're in a commercial right now on the CNN live stream. So anyway, I was in the middle of telling you about Saudi Arabia. Okay. It's complicated. It goes back to Vegas. I'll tell you about it. We have to go back to Vegas to properly talk about Saudi Arabia. Where is my information on that? Was I looking at it on my other computer? Here. Okay. Some were reporting. Okay. And by the way, for everybody who thinks my referencing mediums who claim they talked to Stephen Paddock, well, both mediums said that he was collaborating with what seemed to be like Middle Easterners, using Islam. And the Saudis funded ISIS to be terrorists, and they follow an extremist form of Islam that does believe in killing infidels and does believe in all that stuff and thinks Americans, could just be killed. There is that kind of thing. Even though I deny it most of the time, even though most of the time we see it on the news, it's fake, I think. Although I'm having to rethink everything. So that's what the Saudis do, this other arm, okay? The bin Talal kind of arm of this Saudi royal family syndicate or whatever they are. They funded ISIS and didn't want Trump to go after ISIS. They delayed going after ISIS. Trump genuinely doesn't like ISIS, it turns out. And that's why he's made progress against them. Because he really wanted to get rid of ISIS. So he did. And that's why it didn't take very long, it appears. Obama, Clinton, Bush crime syndicate likes ISIS, supports radical Islam for whatever reason. Trump is serious about getting radical Islam out of the country because Saudi funded, Qatar funded, Kuwait funded terrorists, ISIS, are shipped over here and then let loose. And then that's what happened was they got involved in shooting up people at this Route 91 thing. With help from U.S. intelligence, including our shooter, Paddock, Stephen Paddock, who was working for FBI, CIA, providing guns for these people, shooting guns with them in the desert, training with them. But then something else went down at the event. This Saudi-aligned group, which is also aligned with our U.S. intelligence, the deep state, who needs to protect these Saudis at all costs. And that's why the investigation is messed up. This guy, bin Talal, is a major investor in hotels. Apparently, he's a big investor in the Four Seasons, which has like the top 2 floors of Mandalay Bay. The guy owns Twitter, he's a big investor in a lot of things. Twitter, News Corp, and these hotel establishments, okay? There is a Saudi presence in Las Vegas in August for like the whole month where they could have cased the joint, basically. Our relationship with the Saudis is we're tied together with intelligence and stuff, our intelligence agencies. Okay, so we are covering up for them. Bin Salman has been meeting with Trump for a while, and they've been friends. Bin Salman is the current Prince Ascendant, He's the next in line for the crown. The king is 81. Okay. This guy apparently is more moderate. He's trying to change the country to diversify from oil. There's another story about oil and their oil company and what Trump was talking about yesterday. And then there's a story about Lebanon. All of this stuff happened yesterday by design. Okay. A few weeks ago, Jared Kushner met with bin Salman, the guy that's on Trump's side. So you have bin Talal and bin Salman. I'm just using that part of their name, even though the other part is supposedly more important. I'm not going to bother giving you the whole names. Bin Talal, investor in Twitter, hotels, apparently the Four Seasons, which is top of Mandalay Bay. Had helicopters perhaps in the area as well, right? So we have Saudi air traffic of some sort. We've been told through mediums and other sources that it was Islamic terror. So Salafist, Muslim, I'm trying to get it all right. Wahhabi, Salafist, sponsors of terrorism. In an effort, because they want to overthrow the government, because they want regime change in the United States, and Trump isn't listening to them, okay? That faction of the Saudi Arabian royal family syndicate, whatever, extended, is against Trump. And for proof of that, was I looking at everything on this computer? For proof of that, oh, and Trump already came out in support of bin Salman, the guy that's been basically trying to run the country. I want to show you some tweets. He's a big investor in Citigroup and Lyft, the car service that's like Uber. He's a big time investor. He's like a Warren Buffett of the Middle East. He got arrested. Did I tell you that? He got arrested yesterday for money laundering or corruption. Here we go. Okay. So this is Donald Trump's interest. I'll tell you. This is why this has to do with Trump. Trump and his cleansing of, his perhaps cleansing of, beginning to try to cleanse the intelligence forces which are aligned against him, which include the media. Maybe the Hollywood stuff has to do with Trump. Maybe. Maybe not. But you're going to see people being exposed. That's why the Podestas are being exposed. That's why why Clinton is being exposed now. From Trump's faction. We have two battling factions now. It's going to be an all-out war, chaos. Okay, so stay tuned into this channel. Subscribe and stuff. Because we're about to have some very interesting times. They're here. November 4th, it begins. It did. Okay, let me tell you. Okay, so this guy, I'll tell you the characters. This guy is bin Talal. Famous. Lots of money. Big investor. Billionaire investor. Runs something called Kingdom Holdings. Large stakes in Twitter, News Corp. Appears regularly on Western television, including CNBC. U.S. educated. And he was arrested. This has been Salman, who, like I said, Jared Kushner just met with. This guy bin Talal, during the election, he had some history where he bailed out Donald Trump at one point when he was a real estate developer in New York and he was having problems. But during the election, this guy bin Talal, Al-Walid bin Talal, says to real Donald Trump, you are a disgrace not only to the GOP, but to all America. Withdraw from the U.S. presidential race as you will never win. And Donald said, dopey Prince Al-Walid Talal wants to control our U.S. politicians with daddy's money. Can't do it when I get elected. Can't do it when I get elected. When he was meeting privately with bin Salman, the guy we were just talking about, the guy that's taking power right now. This article was written back in May of this year, The Independent. Trump and Saudi Prince Mohammed bin Salman are the most dangerous men in the world, and they're meeting next week. Trump had already ordered greater U.S. support for the Saudi war effort in Yemen, but the deputy crown prince will be primarily bidding for U.S. backing for his confrontation with Iran. Trump doesn't like Iran. Bin Salman doesn't like Iran. That's them together, okay? And Trump is okay with Saudi Arabia taking over Yemen in their fight against Iranian-aligned Hezbollah. Something happened in Lebanon, too, that's all related to this. This is a major, major world-changing event that's going on right now in the Middle East. And it has to do with Donald Trump, and it's going on in this country as people begin to be exposed, like John Tony Podesta, Clinton, as you see her being exposed, the Uranium One deal, etc. This talks about Trump meeting with bin Salman earlier this year and how he supports the Saudi roles in Syria and then Yemen. And the Saudis are aligned basically with Israel and now Donald Trump against Iran and Hezbollah and their influence everywhere else. That's what's going on in Yemen, is that it's a fight between Saudi influence and Iranian, or yeah, I think you can say Iranian or Iranian influence in that government, in that war, basically, which is a war for Saudi dominance of that country. Trump supports that. Trump asked that Saudi Arabia list their oil company, Aramco, I think it's called, on our stock exchange. It would be the biggest IPO ever, apparently. Trump asked him for that in the morning. By the afternoon or evening, there had been all this commotion, all of these arrests, including bin Talal. The false flag, most likely from Yemen, of course, launched by Hezbollah, that was apparently intercepted, was aimed at the airport, and grounded all of their private planes. So all the people that bin Salman's faction was trying to round up couldn't leave. And now somebody is dead. Let's see. Now there was a big plane crash. So I'll show you that. That's on Zero Hedge. And then maybe we'll go back to playing the thing. And then I'll take phone calls, I guess. Thanks for tuning in. Please subscribe. Please give me a thumbs up. Please share. I haven't even shared it yet. Probably should. Saudi helicopter carrying 8 high-ranking officials and Prince bin Mukreen crashed near Yemen border, all dead. 8 high-ranking Saudi officials, including Prince Mansour bin Mukreen, crashed in the south of the kingdom near the border with Yemen. And this is where they supposedly intercepted and destroyed a ballistic missile that was fired toward the airport. The Houthis, Iranian-backed Houthi rebels, is who they're battling with. This is them short hours before the crash. Oh, that's weird. How weird is that they have video of that? That's the weirdest thing ever. This is allegedly them boarding the chopper. What the heck? Why would you happen to have video of them getting on the chopper that they happen to crash in? How weird is that? It's like they wanted to plant evidence that they blew up. How weird is that? All aboard have died. So this is how they summarize it. Trump pushes Aramco IPO out of the blue. The prime minister of Lebanon, I'll tell you about that, forced to resign. Saudis intercept missiles. 11 Saudi princes arrested. Numerous officials charged. And now a dead crown prince near the border with Yemen. I wonder, with this evidence they're putting out, if they're trying to blame it on Yemen that they were killed. And maybe they weren't really. That would be really interesting. near the Yemen border. I wonder. That's an interesting conspiracy theory for you. Might be. It's weird for them to have all this evidence of these people all together. Why would they happen to have that? And them boarding a helicopter, allegedly, why would they happen to have that? It's just weird. It's like they're trying to prove that they were on a helicopter and got killed. Why do you need to prove that? Look for war with Iran, escalating tensions with Iran, certainly increased war in Yemen, total power grab in Saudi Arabia, and exposing things here at home. So he got rid of the Islamists that he didn't like in Saudi Arabia. And they were involved in the Route 91 thing, the people he got rid of, the thing in Vegas. That could be part of the reason he went after him, and the reason he has intelligence now. They're bad guys and then really bad guys. Trump is with the bad guys. And now I understand. They've been trying to expose the left for a while. That's what Pizzagate was about, I guess. A little bit. I don't freaking know. Man, George Webb and stuff, and exposing Debbie Wasserman Schultz. All that seems to be tied up with this big, larger Trump scheme to expose the deep state, they call it. Maybe. I don't know. Thinking lots of different things. Maybe I'll take phone calls, depending on how many people are tuned in. I see a lot of mods in my chat, so maybe not that many people are tuned in. It's good to have you here, though, all the same. Let's see. I'm on Twitch, too. Oh, okay. Yeah. I'll take phone calls. Why not? And I'll play something on my screen.
I think that is really important to know.
It looks like news.
For the official word from the investigators, from the sheriff who has been.
I'll open my phone.
As well,
650 gay taxi is the number. I think I'll take calls.
FBI, resources are on scene.
It's the end of the world.
Is on scene as well.
You'll be okay. Please don't stress out.
Just trying to wrap their
Don't stress out. But you might see stuff like this. It's crazy. Oh, I got to put up my number. 650 gay taxi in the U.S. Sunday. I'm still doing a show. The Twitch thing is always there because I'm going to be on YouTube and I'm going to try to pick people up off YouTube. But Richie from Boston was just, I need to invite channels to call in too, because everybody's getting killed. I was on Titus's show last night. I'm making friends again. Can I put my phone number up? There. I'll get rid of it. Oh, wow. That was quick.
Are you able to share anything about any of the victims?
That was quick. This is Nathan. You're on the air.
Hey, Nate. This is Johnny calling.
Hey, Johnny.
I just had a quick question for you.
Yeah.
And I'll hop off. What do you think this has? This Texas shooting has anything to do with rumors about Podesta being arrested and the rollout coming in the next couple days?
I didn't bring that up. Okay, that's good you brought that up because Podesta. Okay, so there are rumors that Podesta is going to be indicted, and there are rumors that he already has been, along with Tony Podesta, that was supposed to happen on the 3rd, on Friday. Didn't seem to have happened. I think that could very well be about to come out. But I've heard somebody else who sounded trustworthy saying that's not going to happen for a while because Podesta has so much protection. And instead of getting leaked by Mueller's team today that was what was going to happen tomorrow, now they're saying Flynn and Flynn Jr. are about to be indicted. That they are the ones being indicted next, rather than.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah, rather than the Podestas. So, but I'd like to see it. Yeah, I'd like to see it happen.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, buddy.
All right. That's it.
Yep.
All right, man. Thanks, Johnny. Yeah, I forgot. So that's all. They're all exposing that stuff. Clinton, right? The whole thing about the Uranium One deal is that somebody at the FBI leaked out to the Hill online magazine this information that the FBI was investigating Russian bribery as early as 2009. And for some reason, that information was released. I don't think there's, I don't know why. So maybe I'm not informed, and maybe it was through some other investigation. But I feel like it was a deliberate effort to expose Hillary Clinton. And I feel like that's the agenda right now, is just to be exposing the deep state by Donald Trump. Believe it or not, coming around. I don't like Donald Trump. I didn't vote for him or anything. But he might be doing what he should be doing in some respects, as the lesser of two evils. You can call 650-429-8294. You can let me know what you think. I'll show the news. Oh, you can get your t-shirt, Lift the Veil t-shirt. I'm going to put more stuff on the website today. Hopefully today. Coffee mugs, stickers, and another t-shirt. So those are coming. So check back to lifttheveil411.com. And subscribe to this. Give me a thumbs up. You can find me on Twitch. People are there right now chatting on Twitch. So I have a number of people tuned in there as well. It's a good platform, and Richie from Boston should go there. Titus should be broadcasting on there. Jeff C should be broadcasting on there. I can't believe Richie from Boston is gone. This is Nathan. You're on the air.
Hey, Nathan.
What's up?
Thanks for taking my call.
My pleasure.
I'm a relative newcomer to your channel, and really interesting, and congratulations that you're still surviving, because you seem to disappear every so often, and I worry, that you've been taken off air completely.
Yeah, they almost accomplished that entirely. That's why I have this Twitch thing here, so that I think I'll continue to exist at this Twitch thing. So that's the good news.
Well, listen, man, that's fantastic, because I'm also a fan of Crow, 777, and Marty Leeds, and a couple of other guys, and they're all being hammered,
Yep, exactly. Yeah, I'd like to know a way that I could, because it would be cool. What you can do on Twitch is it's easy to just simulcast, first of all, so you can still be on YouTube like I am now. But then you can also host other channels. So like on my channel, I can make it whenever Richie goes live. Let's say if he were on there, I could have it play on my channel, and so somebody could stay tuned in and get different things during the day, when I'm not live, that is. So there's interesting stuff you can do there.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. And I think it's come to the stage now in terms of, and I hate that whole conspiracy theorist kind of, label that everyone's given. And also truth that has this kind of weird feeling to it as well. But I love, in some ways, I think that it's come to the, the 11th hour. And I noticed you started to do it when you got on Twitch, which I'd never heard of before, by the way, because I'm a 50-year-old man who doesn't play games. So
right. Why would you have heard of it? Right.
Yeah, I'd never heard of Twitch. But I noticed that you're reaching out to people, and I just think it's about time that, look, flat Earth, bloody, Sandy hoax, whatever it is, everybody just need. And I think that flat Earth thing has been the most divisive moment in conspiracy. I don't love this word again. Conspiracy theorists in the last 2 or 3 years, and it's really screwed everything up. Because you're on one side or the other, and people just get so passionate about it. But it just feels like this is the moment of reckoning, right? This is the moment when you're with us or you're against us. But the bottom line is, you're standing up for truth, right? That's it. Right. It doesn't matter what your definition of truth is. In some ways,
right.
It's and I think everybody's scattered, and they don't. Yeah, I mean, maybe you need to be that port of call, Nathan. Maybe you need to be that guy who just starts bringing people together and reaching after them. That
would be a real change.
No, seriously, I mean, maybe you need to be the the Henry Kissinger. Oh, well, that's a terrible kind of idea. But maybe you need to be the UN of bloody truthers.
Right. Well, I'd like to be, and I'm planning to be streaming a lot while the world falls apart. So I'd love it if those people, those people are. I'd love it if they called in to my show, and maybe somehow it could be a magnet for that stuff, and where we can discuss ideas for what to do. People are just being eliminated from YouTube.
You just sounded like the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy then. It's quite funny, the restaurant at the end of the universe or whatever,
Right.
But yeah, somebody needs to bring everyone together.
Yeah.
And everyone is bitching and moaning about each other instead of concentrating on this kind of matrix that we're locked in. And it feels like, I woke up literally, I guess about a year ago, and it was about 9/11.
Mm-hmm.
And seriously, before that, and I was doing research on something I was working on, and before that, I was the guy at the dinner party who, if anybody sort of, cast aspersions on the way the government account was about 9/11, I was like, oh, fuck, here we go with another conspiracy theorist,
Right.
And now it's when you just scratch the surface and you get into it, that brought me into it. And then, of course, that leads to everything else.
Right.
But it's just a matter of waking people up. And the thing I wanted to ask you was, so look, we had Las Vegas, and now we had New York, and now we've got bloody Texas.
Right.
Why is this happening so quickly? What is going on? And Saudi Arabia, obviously, which is definitely part of something bigger, right? And that's masking something else, I think, or something else. Sorry, Texas is masking Saudi Arabia.
Right. It could be. Yeah. And along with the November 4th protests yesterday being some kind of distraction away from what's going on in Saudi Arabia, because people don't realize what a big deal that is.
No, it's a huge, no, you're on it. And that's why I was kind of pleasantly surprised today, because I think you say Saudi Arabia to most people and they fall asleep at Saudi,
Mm-hmm,
but
right.
But there is definitely there's huge repercussions over this. And I can't help but think, when you've got these two major things going, and just that footage you showed of the guys getting into a helicopter. It's like,
I know, how weird.
This is us a few minutes before we were killed.
Right, right. How weird is that?
But the fact that this Texas thing happened simultaneously.
Right.
It's this, there is something going on, and just the rapidity and how quickly they're happening. We're leading to something, right? We have to be.
Yeah, well, I think so. There's kind of a coup taking place right now in this country, I think, with between the evil and then the less evil of Trump. And I think Trump had got sick of this deep state thing going after him, and he finally figured out how to attack it himself.
Do you really believe that? Do you really think your vote counts? Do you really think Trump is elected president?
Well,
they're all active, man.
I didn't vote for him. I didn't vote for him, but I do think, I don't know, I've seen a lot of stuff, and I do think that he's controlling this that there's a renegade segment of you could call them patriots that are within the government that are sick of this crime syndicate. And that they're starting to expose it piece by piece, and then and
I don't believe that. I think there are a whole bunch of elite kind of cartels fighting for power. I don't think anyone has our thoughts in mind. I think there's a whole bunch of them. Whether or not everyone says the Freemasons and the Catholic Church, because the numbers work and the general kind of philosophy and religiosity of it works, but it's just simply that's the truth in terms of those things. So, people can see that, so they therefore blame it on them. But I think that, we'd be naive to think that there is one powerful cabal running the world. I think there are lots jostling, just like Saudi Arabia, right? That's almost a microcosm of the macrocosm.
Right.
So there's a whole bunch of these guys, these cabals fighting for power. And I don't believe that, Trump or Obama or any of them actually are in charge or have anything. They're just actors too ugly for Hollywood, right?
Well, I do think the Clinton, Obama, Bush cabal, you know, generally working together, but or laced together, are still have a lot of people in power, in intelligence, in the media, and that they're very anti-Trump, you know. So I do think there's one big cabal of those folks, but I think they're really anti-Trump, and they're trying to overthrow the government in many ways. You know,
really, but don't you think that's? I mean, I hear you, and I think that there are, as I say, many cabals fighting for power, because I think it would be silly of us not to think that was the case. It's not just one happy kind of family up at the very top that we can't see, and yeah, maybe Clinton is the public face of one of them, and Trump is the public face of the other. But I don't think there's anything like a deep state going on that's looking after, you know, our best interests.
Right.
You know, and that whole Democratic Party thing that's just come out with Donna Brazile proves that our vote is worthless, man. You know, you go along to the polls, you think you're voting, you think you make a difference. It's absolute BS. It's all just part of the artifice and the theater of it.
Right, right. Well, I mean, I've changed my views quite a bit to get where I am now, and I'm willing to change them again. So,
yeah, of
you
course.
know,
That's good though, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. Who knows? For
I mean,
sure.
People criticize. You know, I love people. You know, people who criticize you for changing your mind. It's like, God, you know, when I get more information, I need to, and then think back to before you woke up. Thank God you changed your mind. You know,
right.
It's
exactly.
just that it gets. Unfortunately, it sort of gets more confusing now, right? Because you're the guy who, you know, sat at, I don't know, Thanksgiving and Christmas and all that sort of stuff, and it was easy to throw vitriol at strange conspiracy thinking uncles.
Right.
But now you're the guy sitting there. I had a similar thing. I was at a dinner party last night, and the ISS was brought up, right? And I was. And I mean, you know, I don't know what woke you up, Nathan? Like, what was the moment that you went, hang on, the world is a different place from what I think it is?
9/11. It was like September of 2015, and I happened to watch something on 9/11 that convinced me. You know, it was a long presentation, pretty dry, and it had enough in there. I mean, it's easy enough when you see enough evidence to get on the 9/11 thing. And yeah, I'd already been questioning things. Obviously, you know, you always get there by already kind of questioning the nature of what you've been told. But that's specifically when it happened for me. And
But that was your like baptism of truth, right? And then you wake up, and then everything kind of spreads out from there.
Right.
But then unfortunately you have these moments where and you must have had them as well, where you go, oh my God, I wish I hadn't woken up. You know, those occasions where you go, Jesus, if only I could shut my mouth, you know.
Right.
And I had one of those last night. I was at a dinner party, and the International Space Station came up, and before I hadn't, you know, I was completely sober and all that sort of stuff. And before I could, you know, stop my tongue from wagging, I looked across the table and said to this guy, but have you actually seen any of that footage from the ISS? And it was one of those moments where the whole table fell silent, right? And I was like, oh, fuck, what do I do? You know, what do I do? What do I do? And I just sort of, I bowled on, and I said, look, go online and have a look.
Right.
And ask yourself whether it's normal for all the women in the space station to have hair like Marge Simpson, right? Right? And then it went like this. Silence, and then everybody, and I only knew a couple of people there, but everyone just sort of turned to each other and carried on the conversation like I hadn't said anything.
Right.
And a person who knew me at the other end of the table said, yeah, he's a conspiracy theorist.
Right. There you go.
And so, you know, you go, oh, God almighty, I wish maybe I'd just go back to sleep, you know. Having said that, the person I was addressing it to, I spoke to later. And look, I'm sure today he's looking at ISS footage, you know.
Right.
Well, hopefully. Otherwise, I've just, you know, ruined my chances of going out to dinner with everybody else for the rest of my life. So, yeah, I mean, it's, you know, it's sometimes you wish, right?
Right.
Sometimes you wish you didn't wake up.
Right. I know.
But listen, man, I just want to look. Thank you so much. You're doing a great job.
Thanks.
And I appreciate it. And I do. I have been watching what you guys have been going through. And all I would say is I think you've got a real opportunity here. And, divided we fall.
Right.
And there are a lot of people out there. And I know, as I say, I listen to Crow's podcast, and he is fantastic. And there's a couple of other guys. But he has also been putting the call out that he will go on anyone's podcast and talk about it. I think he's been locked out of YouTube. So it's sort of D-Day, right?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of is. That's why I kind of almost made a hard transition to Twitch, where I was off YouTube for a while, because it's definitely not sustainable with what you see is happening out there. And I may still have to delete these shows after they're over. Maybe I don't know how to. I need to be able to go live, and on
YouTube. But can you go live on YouTube? No,
I'm live on YouTube now. Yeah, I'm live right now. But I need to be able to continue that, because one strike, you're down for 90 days as far as going live. That's the whole problem. That's why Twitch is, if people go live, Twitch is great. It's going to become more popular too. People are, people are starting to be looking for other things other than video games on there, because they've spent so much time there and they're familiar with the platform and stuff. So that should grow.
How do you make your money? So can you explain to me? So on YouTube, you had, quite a few thousand followers, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And and there was Patreon, or explain to me how, because you don't work anymore. I've heard you talk about you gave up your job and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I couldn't have a job if I wanted, because of the targeting and stuff. They'd call my employer or write him a letter the same way they did to my dad and my psychiatrist. I mean, so that's difficult.
But you're talking about just about people who disagreed with you, like trolls, basically.
Yeah, or professional trolls or whatever. Right. I mean, there are certain, so I can't work, but yeah, I take donations. I live with my dad. I take donations, and I just started selling things, and those are going to be really cool. I'm going to have more on my site today. People are buying T-shirts and stuff. That'll be fun. It gives people something they can have. But yeah, Patreon, PayPal,
what's the best?
What's the best way to do it?
What's the best way of
Cryptocurrency is the best. I have 3 addresses for cryptocurrency, because that'll take the least fee and it's the most anonymous. I don't have to get any of your information or anything. But PayPal's great. I mean, anything's great. If you're an Amazon Prime subscriber, if you link that to Twitch, you can subscribe to my channel, and I get money, and it doesn't cost you anything, from what I understand.
Okay.
So that's one thing you can do. So there are a few different things.
Oh, that's great. Okay. Yeah. Well, listen, man. I just wanted to call up, and apart from raving in your ear, just to tell you that I
appreciate it.
You are appreciated, and also because I think there's a lot of. I mean, I don't know. You go through. A lot of people think that Alex Jones is the gateway drug to it, and I just completely bypassed him, because before I was awake, I sort of I saw him, and I was like, no. He's the opposite, right? He actually turns people off, I think, because he seems insane.
Yeah, well, you know what, though? Mostly what I hear is people saying that they wouldn't have ever gotten to me without starting with Alex Jones. So mostly I hear that he does help wake people up, because the first thing people see, and then they start looking for more. They start looking for alternatives to it. So
it's almost like a heart attack, right? Brings you back to life.
Right, maybe.
What about what do you think of Rogan?
I think Rogan's great, except he seems to be a shill on flat Earth and the moon landing, and so I don't understand
what's your definition of shill? Like, what do you mean by that?
Well, he seems to be compromised as far as talking about certain things, like the moon landing, for example, which he used to say was fake, and he doesn't anymore. And he has those science guys on. He calls flat earthers insane and stuff. And even though I started saying the Earth now can't be flat, but it seems flat. I think that he's not being entirely truthful with some of what he says, but I like him. I'd love to be on his show. I mean, I think I'd be great.
I guess it's, once again, it's that gateway thing, right? In some ways. I know what you're talking about. I don't understand the whole kind of wrestling thing that he does. It's
Right.
just a bit odd. It's a bit odd to me, but then I don't understand Alex Jones screaming at me either. And who else do you recommend? You know, like who else do you have got you when you sort of woke up in 2015 or 2016 or whatever you said? How did you move into the whole space then?
Well, I really liked guys like Red Silver J, I thought was awesome on YouTube. I didn't watch Alex Jones to start out. I just looked at, I don't know, I just clicked around to all the different videos. I'm sure I watched a number of things PK did. Eventually I watched some Russian vids I thought was great for the occult stuff, which I didn't know enough about yet. So stuff like that. I really, really liked Red Silver J. I thought he was funny. Is
he still around?
No, not really. Everybody's gone. I mean, if you search on YouTube, everybody's gone. Everybody's gone.
I can't help but think that whole Las Vegas thing is just billionaire big game hunting.
Oh yeah, maybe.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. What do you think? I think Saudi Arabia was involved based on what I'm seeing.
Yeah,
now.
maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe some of those goddamn princes were in the helicopters just picking off human beings. You
Yeah,
know?
right.
I just think it's when you go to Las Vegas and you can drop, you know, $1 million in a game of blackjack, and you get sick of the dancing girls coming in and the alcohol and whatever else. It's like, what if somebody comes up to you and whispers in your ear, well, you know, you've killed a couple of rhinoceri or rhinoceroses or whatever the plural of that is. Why don't you come out and we'll kill some humans tomorrow night, right?
Right.
You don't even need to be able to use a gun. You just, you know, sit in a helicopter or whatever and just fire off a machine gun into the crowd. And I think that's what we've come to now. To me, that's the most logical conclusion of the whole thing because, you know, who can admit that after something like that's happened and it's locked down? You know, the Las Vegas sheriff and the FBI, you know, they're not about to say, well, actually, it was 5 Saudi princes with M16s in helicopters flying over the continent and killing people. You know, I mean, it's just, and also killing, you know, infidels. That must be a lot of fun.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, it's certainly a possibility. And anyway, so a lot of different things. It looks like we're about to have okay, thanks for the call, man. I really appreciate it. Thanks for listening to the show.
Man. Keep up the good work. Yeah,
okay.
Thank you, Nathan.
Cool. Cheers. Okay, I'm just showing on the screen here that the press conference is about to start. I can play it for everybody who's tuning in to see this. I'll play some of what's going on. I just take phone calls on this show, and there's only so much news. I was talking about everything that's really going on. We're in the middle of chaos. Hold on.
The behavior
Come
around
on.
us that we,
Come on.
the things that are said.
There we go.
We must look inward. We can be better as a people, but not
27 people dead, 24 injured, I think. Out of 50 parishioners, 51 were shot, it appears.
Yep.
Do you believe it? Do I believe it?
I've got to stop you there. I'm sorry, sir. We're up against a heartbreak.
It's hard to believe 27 people or 24 or whatever it is were pronounced dead at the scene. Happened at Sandy Hook and San Bernardino also. At the scene.
Remember that accident I got in with the pole and I had to make a
Okay,
claim and all
I guess I can take another call. It looks like that's what we're waiting on right now is the press conference. So as soon as it comes on, I'll go to that. I can watch. Phones are open again for whoever wants to call in. This is a channel that sometimes talks about conspiracy theories. So that's what you're hearing. You're hearing the truth on this channel if you're new. Thanks for subscribing, though. We're going to be going live until we can't know more as this civil war progresses. Donald Trump is involved in some sort of coup right now, which includes Saudi Arabia. We're talking about Saudi Arabia being involved in the Las Vegas shooting, which wasn't the way we were told. Stephen Paddock, working for the FBI, CIA, providing guns to something like ISIS. That's why they had to cover it up, because they provided the weapons, most likely, that killed Americans. By the way, speaking of weapons being distributed to Americans, let me see. history. Speaking of weapons being given to ISIS, speaking of that, I've heard this story before. I've reported this before from people in Chicago. Let me see. Is this on the right thing? Is this looking at the right thing? Yes. Let's see if it's still open. Phone's open. 650-GAY-TAXI. Thanks for tuning in. You can call me and talk about whatever. I don't care. I wonder if this didn't check. Huh. Oh, here. Right here. Okay. So speaking of guns being distributed to terrorists or whatever, we know that we funded and created ISIS with the help of Saudi Arabia, delivered weapons and all of that. Here. Let me see if this is it.
Duop took us to meet Bo Deal, a rapper from the west side, the most dangerous part of the city. Like Duop, his music is drill.
Hold on. There's a point to this. Has to do with gun running. I'm going to get you the press conference as soon as it starts. Fox News has them.
The past few months, I done seen more people close to me and more people that I know that's been shot and killed.
Let's see if he says this.
And everyone's got a gun. Everybody got a gun. I don't know. Listen, I never seen so many guns. Like, we had a lot of guns, but I never seen so many guns like now, ever. It's like they dropped. It's like they dropped off. Like somebody dropped off crates of guns in everybody's hood. Like it seemed like it was designed for a motherfucker to lose. Like somebody putting all these guns here. Well, you got little kids and everybody got guns. And they don't got just little 22s. And when we was coming up, it was 22s, 25s, 38s. Yeah, and they got big guns and 30-shot clips. And
yeah, those are... So anyway, that's news of guns being shipped by the CIA. We know about drugs being run by the CIA. We know about Freeway. Rick... okay, hold on. This is Nathan. You're on the air.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Not too bad. It's a little delay here. Hold on. Okay, great. So I want to talk to you about your commercial.
My commercial? Go ahead. Which one?
Yes.
Which one?
Well, it was the carpet commercial.
Oh, that was on Fox News?
No. That was on your channel as it was going.
Oh, I'm streaming Fox News. That's why. I'm just streaming Fox News. But you,
so that's the commercial?
That would be what you saw. Yeah, it wasn't anything from me.
It wasn't from you then.
No. Why? What were you going to tell me about it?
Well, it just looked really bad because it just seemed like as you were playing, then the commercial came on.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. No, it's I'm just getting different feeds from CNN live on YouTube and Fox News live on YouTube. Just waiting for just waiting for the thing.
So you have no sponsors?
No, I don't have any sponsors. You can buy a T-shirt though.
Yeah, no, I know all about that. Yeah, that's good. And now this makes it even better, actually. So
yeah,
really good.
No commercials in this one.
Oh, okay. Well, it looked like that. It blended in so well. I don't know what to say.
What do you think about this shooting? Since I have you on the phone.
The new ones?
Yeah, the one happened today at the church.
I haven't seen much of it, but I'm just going to say BS right away.
You are? Okay. Well,
I am, right away.
Okay, cool. Well, that's the best. I think that's the best bias to take from the get-go until they prove otherwise. So.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes.
All right.
That's how I'm saying.
I'll be looking at it.
I got some more.
What's that? Well,
I'd like to talk more about the Trump stuff.
Okay, go ahead.
So I really think I believe Trump is doing good for sure.
Okay.
But is he part of the situation? Definitely is.
Part of which situation then? What do you mean?
Well, the situation of confusing all of us.
Right. Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. You think that he's what kind of good do you think he's doing?
Well, exposing everything, right? It comes right to the pedophiles, to the rape,
right?
Everything.
So do you think
Like-
do you think he wants that to come out? Because I've been skeptical about that in the past.
I think he does. Yes, I think he does want it to come out.
Okay, cool. Well, I hope so. I hope so. It looks like some stuff is going to come out. I think they are really after Podesta and some of those other characters. So hopefully that's what we see. Hopefully that's what we see coming from the Mueller investigation.
Right, but at the same time, there's like two evils going on here.
Right. I
right.
agree with that.
It's a constant battle of what's happening.
Right.
And they're going to keep on confusing us and making us go left or right.
Right. Well, we're going to
And
try to keep it in the middle. We're going to try to keep everybody open-minded and on an even keel here if we can. But I think that's what they're trying to do is divide, the traditional divide and conquer stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thanks for the call. I appreciate it.
Okay, Nathan. Thank you.
All right. Cheers. I always know how to get the best out of people. Okay. You want me to play some sound for a bit?
Was this person radicalized? Was this? It's no doubt about it. When you go into a church
closed the
and
phone.
you do what this guy's done, this is an act of domestic terrorism. The question is, does he have any international associations? The other question is, again, and you mentioned it, Othel, and that is, does he know is somebody from that community that he had a beef with? I was shaking in my boots in my chair when I heard the congressman say something about it being somebody from he didn't actually say this, but he inferred that it may have very well been somebody from another county. And that led me to right away believe that the congressman and others now know who this individual is. I am sure that they're at his home, that they're checking his computers, they're checking his phone out, or they're checking now to see about this weapon.
Yes.
You have AT&F on the scene there. There's a complete investigation.
Okay. All right. Wow. He's a little loud for me.
And certainly the
I'm watching to see when this press conference starts. Let's see if I can play on a different screen. Let's see if I have it set up. I have a whole other screen set up. Let's see. I think that's under here. Let's see. Oh, I have a whole other screen. Where is it? Oh, I know. I'm going to play you some of what witnesses say, but I just want to make sure that we don't miss the news conference. So there's that. Yes, not my commercial, by the way. Not my commercial. Hey, everybody. Subscribe. We take calls. It's a really interesting show, in case you haven't ever been here before. I'm Nathan Stoltman. I'm your host. I'm just like the other folks on YouTube that tell the truth under threat of not existing anymore at all times. Let me do this. Sutherland Springs witness. It looks like there's some witnesses. Everybody wants to see that. Okay, let me just see if I can do this. I've been working on multicasting. Let's see, that's that one. Here's this one. Let's see.
You don't remember me, do you?
Here.
I saved his life once.
That looks good.
My son's gonna be
Did I cut it right?
I was wondering if you guys could come with me.
I'll have to get it here. Let me just see if I can get it right. On the left screen, we're waiting for the. Oh boy. What is going on? Oh man, that's not good.
San Antonio, CNN's Kaylee Hart.
Okay, hold on. I gotta figure out what the hell's going on with this. Oh, it's showing. What the fuck? Is it showing this? Oh, that's why. Okay. All right. I'll fix that. I'll fix that for you guys. It's because I have two of those up. Where is it? Google Chrome. Here. No, that's not it. Witnesses say several people shot. Let's see. Here. Okay, that's better. Okay. Hey. Hey now. Let's see what the
Tongue has more on the story. Kaylee.
Well, Fred, we have spoken with officials who say FBI and first responders are on the scene of what I'm told is an active site here in Sutherland Springs, Texas. This is about 30 miles east of San Antonio. And I just spoke with a witness, a woman, a cashier at a gas station just across the street. She told me right around 11:30 Central Time in Sutherland Springs, she heard what she estimated to be 20 shots fired. She says that's when church would be underway for their Sunday service at First Baptist Church there. And customers in her store were calling 911, among those getting the police's attention. She told me that police responded to the scene very quickly. She said she's seen 4 helicopters take off with victims inside, multiple ambulances responding. But again, the FBI and first responders are on the scene. You see a feed here from our affiliate KSAT out of San Antonio in Sutherland Springs, Texas, on the scene here as we hope to learn more about what transpired there this morning. Again, this is in a town about 30 miles southeast of San Antonio. I'm told this is a very small community. Church is the center point of this community. This First Baptist Church is nestled in a neighborhood. I'm told it's the only food pantry in town, and there are a lot of lower income, disabled, older folks in that neighborhood as well. The witness I spoke with, Carrie Matula, said this is going to be very difficult for this small community to process. Friends, neighbors, this is a church where anybody in the neighborhood would have known someone who could have possibly been inside. We'll be standing by as we learn more, Fred.
And you said active scene. What are investigators saying, if anything, about the alleged shooter or shooters?
We don't know anything at this point about the shooter, if it was one or multiple, but from the account of that witness I spoke to, who was just 50 yards away from the church inside the gas station where she works, she said she heard what she estimated to be 20 shots fired in very short time period. She also told me that those people right there in the area, in the proximity of the church, felt comfortable with where the situation was, with how quickly police responded. There wasn't any sort of chase or pursuit of the suspect by her eyewitness account of the outside of the church. So they feel comfortable that a suspect has been apprehended, but we have no confirmation that that is the case. Again, when I spoke with officials on the scene, they said this is an active scene, an ongoing investigation. They were not ready to share any firm numbers with us or a status of the suspect here.
All right, Kaylee Hartung, keep us posted as you learn any more.
Okay, we're waiting for the news conference to start. I have few streams. I'm looking for witnesses. The witness notably said there were 20 shots fired, and meanwhile we have 51 people shot, allegedly. So okay, so but I know better now to say that it's not fake. I mean, not to say that it's fake, sorry. Not to say that's not fake, but not to say that it is fake. I'll turn the volume here. Let's see.
In America. Mercedes Colwin, thank you very much for your legal analysis, and we'll continue this coverage after this break. Stay right here on the Fox News channel.
Oh boy. Look at what she's doing. Did you see that? She was singing into her
Your
mic.
eyes have a protect.
Okay, let's see. We're just trying to keep up. I'm just keeping up with CNN and Fox. Are there any other things that are live before those things?
I'll just need to check your credit.
I don't run commercials.
With free credit score?
I'll take another call, maybe. I mean, this is bullshit. We're watching commercials. Oops. Let me press play.
In seconds.
Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for sharing. We have 2 sets of commercials. That doesn't pay me to run those things. It'd be cool, though, if I had a carpet store sponsoring me. Should I take another call? Thanks for tuning in. Did I already say that a few times? I'll take another call. It's always interesting to get phone calls. I'm not going to show you while there are commercials on, but I'll show you, and I'm going to interrupt anybody who calls for the press conference. That's what's coming up on this channel. The press conference talking about the shooting in the church. Saudi Arabia is the stuff going on in the Middle East is what's up. And it involves Trump directly. Trump just took over Saudi Arabia. And then their oil company he's going to try to force them to list on the U.S. stock exchange. Biggest IPO ever. And then we're going to attack Iran, probably. The thing about the Saudi change is that they're more anti-Iran and more willing to take risks. And anti-Yemen, which Trump is too. And anti-ISIS, which is why Trump favored their rise to power. Kushner met with bin Salman, the ascendant prince or whatever. It's like 31 years old. He's been running shit in that country. And they're trying to be more moderate, apparently. Trump likes that. And then we're seeing maybe exposing of the deep state. Maybe. Hillary Clinton, John Podesta, Tony Podesta, etc. My phone's open, 650-GAY-TAXI, 650-429-8294. I'm just showing carpet commercials.
More may be injured, including children. The gunman died after a brief chase. Officials on the scene have not released the shooter's name yet. We don't know if he was killed by police or if he took his own life. The FBI is on the scene trying to determine the reason for this attack. We do know one of the victims is the pastor's 14-year-old daughter. Among those 20-plus people killed, neither the pastor nor his wife tell CNN they were at the church during the shootings. But again, that 14-year-old daughter is among the victims. A heavy law enforcement presence still on scene as this is early in the investigation. We're now just about 5.5 hours since the shooting took place. We're continuing to monitor that box there on the bottom right side of your screen as we are expecting officials to give us a press briefing any minute. We'll bring that to you here. Stay with us on CNN.
Closed captioning brought.
Taking your calls. Nothing's going on right now. This live stream went offline, but I think it comes back online. I tried to fix mine so that if my stream ever goes down, I can get up in the same stream, but I can't seem to. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for calling if you'd like. 650-429-8294. I'm Nathan Stoltman. New people tune in all the time. That's why, sorry. I was on for more than 12 hours yesterday. More than 12 hours. But I got some subscribers from it. Some people maybe felt better afterwards. Do you see the t-shirt I'm wearing? You can own one. See, it says LTV. That's my logo sometimes. Limited edition, though. Get one while you can. Out of 50 shirts. And then more stuff. Oh, here, hold on.
At this hour, it's believed this will become the deadliest shooting at a house of worship
I'm turning off the phone.
in America's history. A warning here, some of the details of this, as you can imagine, are gruesome. Correspondent Brian Yennis joins us now with the latest developments and what we're learning at this hour. Brian?
Brett, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton tells Fox News at least 25 people are dead, but the number could be as high as 27. Between 10 to as many as 30 reportedly have been wounded. The unidentified lone gunman fled in a vehicle and was killed either by self-inflicted gunshot wound or shot by police. At about 11:30 this morning, local time, the shooter walked into the First Baptist Church and started firing. The church, founded in 1926, is in Sutherland Springs, Texas. It's a small community of about 400 people. Neighbors say typically 50 people attend church services. Among the victims reportedly killed in this shooting, the 14-year-old daughter of the church's pastor, Frank Pomeroy. Annabelle Pomeroy is the name of the daughter. Frank was not at church this morning. Listen as witnesses describe the scene.
I've been going to this church since I was knee-high to a duck. Yeah. So it's pretty tragic. Really don't know. I'm about in the dark as everybody because I changed my mind to go to church today, and so did my daughter.
likely be there. I was preaching at our church down the road. It was probably about 11:15 or so when some people in our church, we have a deputy and some other people in our church, when we got a call that there was an active shooting going on down at First Baptist Church.
Oh wait, hold on. This is the main witness.
Responders immediately left our church to come down and to help.
The wounded were transferred to hospitals via ambulance and medevac helicopters.
Okay, so there's some news in 4chan. I'm hesitant to read more off 4chan, but there is some news off 4chan I'm going to show you. Let's see here. Possible Muslim attack confirmed. Posts on the Facebook page are liked and commented on by hundreds of Facebook users with Muslim names. It looks like they were casing and monitoring the place for at least a month. Where's the archived version of the page? There, I guess. I guess that's what's been going on. I don't know. Huh. It's weird. I guess it's from this post from September 19th. All these Islamic likes and stuff. I wonder if the page is still... I wonder if the page is down, huh? Let's see. I'll be logged in, though. Hold on. Don't want you to see who I am. Everybody knows, though. I'm Nathan Stoltman. Lift the veil. Okay, let's look up Sutherland. Here, First Baptist Church of Sutherland Springs, Texas. Okay, here we go. Okay. Oh, they have a video. News conference of on mass shooting at church in Texas. That's weird. Oh, that's the video that came up. Okay, here we go. I'm on their Facebook page. Okay, so we can go back and look ourselves. Let's see. October 31st. We'll just see from October 31st. Apparently, there are a bunch of likes from Muslims. Nope, nothing there. Nothing there. It was one with like 100. It was one from September. Let me see. Here. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Here, Kamal Chakma here, Tayyab Tippa, MD Jahadul. Yeah, it's true. It's weird. I do have to say that's pretty weird. Look at all of them. And when was this? And a lot more likes than they normally have, too. Fake profiles created to frame Muslims. Some of these names are not Muslim names. Oh, okay. Got it. Smart. This guy's smart. Maybe they were just liked recently, right? It doesn't mean that they were liked before. You probably can't see when they were liked. Okay, I get it. I think it's a psyop. Perhaps. A lot of the names are kind of generic. MD. Huh, weird, huh? Seems like maybe a frame-up job. Don't know, though. I'm watching the rest of the news. We'll give you the news conferences as soon as it happens. That's what we're waiting on right now. This is the Facebook page for the church. This is some conspiracy news, I guess you could say. The weird thing is this one apparently has 316 likes. Okay, hold on. This is just their latest photos. Let's see if there's any of that Muslim stuff going on. Muslim stuff is weird. Is it chronological? No Muslim stuff here. Let's see. None here. Weird. I don't know what's up with that. Oh, should I open my phone? I guess so. We just saw a bunch of stuff. I'm looking. Yeah, it's just on those other posts. How weird. How weird this world is. I mean, would they just be... Huh. They just had their fall festival. Man, who the heck knows? Lots of people are who watch my show are going to say this didn't happen. But I can't say that. I mean, I can't. Okay, this stream went down. Oops. Eat me. Oh, okay. Okay. I'll turn on the volume.
Running a school or a church, you ought to put some thought in. I'd fight and what other tactics we might employ to keep our constituents safe, whether that is sadly a flock that is being preached to or hundreds of students.
Yeah, Ron Hosko, former assistant director of the FBI. Ron, I wish we didn't have to talk about this as much as we do. Thanks for the time today.
Sure.
President Trump has been briefed on this shooting here in Tokyo. He will be leaving his hotel shortly to meet with business leaders and U.S. Embassy staff on this second day on his nearly 2-week trip to Asia. The president spent his first day here with Japan's prime minister, where the two hit the links. They had dinner while discussing everything from North Korea to trade. Chief White House correspondent John Roberts has
That's the other thing, is while all this stuff's been going on.
And obviously this shooting takes precedent.
While all this stuff's been going on, Trump is out of the country, including the stuff in Saudi Arabia, where there's something really serious going on. We're waiting for the news conference. It's taken a while to start now.
Yeah, it's the sort of thing that's knocking everything off of the headlines at this point in time. And we're told, Brett, that the president was up early, and clearly he was because we saw him on Twitter monitoring the developments here in this tragic shooting. He was briefed several times, according to Sarah Huckabee Sanders, the press secretary, about this. He also spoke with Texas Governor Greg Abbott, who, as Brian Yennis pointed out, is on his way down to the scene there. I expect that they're probably holding that press conference until the governor arrives. The president taking to Twitter this morning to say, quote, "May God be with the people of Sutherland Springs, Texas. The FBI and law enforcement are on the scene. I am monitoring the situation from Japan." Clearly, this is going to weigh heavily on the president as he begins day 2 of his trip to Asia.
Heading to dinner with the Japanese Prime Minister, President Trump predicted it will be a busy Monday in Japan, a narrow amount of time to tackle some big issues.
I'll take calls.
In the midst of having
I'll take calls.
on many subjects, including North Korea.
Meanwhile, there was a helicopter crash carrying a number of Saudi officials near the Yemeni border. Yemen supposedly fired a rocket that was supposedly intercepted in Saudi Arabia yesterday over Riyadh airport. I think that was likely a false flag, same as AMTV says. Okay. I know there are a lot of people trying to reach me. Richie from Boston's channel was terminated, everybody. Richie from Boston.
It was not pleasant for them, was it? It was not pleasant.
As an exclamation point, the president touted America's success
Okay.
ISIS from its headquarters in Raqqa.
Here, hold on.
Applause.
And we
Daily
dealt
Beast.
ISIS one brutal defeat after another, and it's about time.
So far on this trip, the president...
Oh, no, I don't want to pause it. I just want to turn off the volume. Okay, let's see. I have to see what I'm doing. Okay, Daily Beast is reporting who the shooter is. Okay, I'm watching to see when the news conference starts. Devin Patrick Kelly, ID'd as Sutherland Springs shooter. I wonder if he used a bump stock. Devin Patrick Kelly has been identified as the gunman who killed at least 24 people at a church in Texas. U.S. official tells the Daily Beast. Kelly, 26 years old, was a resident of New Braunfels, a suburb of San Antonio, according to public records. On a now deleted Facebook account, Kelly displayed an assault rifle. There it is. Kelly was married. Of course he did. I guess you could say. Kelly was married, and Kelly's mother-in-law listed a P.O. box in Sutherland Springs as a mailing address. San Antonio police reportedly raided Kelly's home on Sunday evening. Is it already Sunday evening? God, I mean, it's only 3 o'clock. A LinkedIn account appearing to belong to Kelly. Oh, here we go. This is the story. Describes him as serving in the U.S. Air Force from his 2009 high school graduation until 2013 when he was briefly taught at a summer Bible school. Serving in the U.S. Air Force. I mean, how many mass shooters are ex-military? Well, let's see. There's the Fort Hood shooting. Where the guy was ex-military or military. There were 2 Fort Hood shootings? I didn't know that. Hassan. Nidal Hassan, a U.S. Army major and psychiatrist. That's Fort Hood. I'm trying to think what else. San Bernardino shooting was related to the military because his brother was in the military. Shout out a few more people. Let's see. I'm trying to think what else. I'm watching for the news conference to start. It's still not. It's still a ways off, it looks like. Boy, I'm trying to think. Well, I can't remember right now. AMTV is down. By the way, Richie from Boston went down today. So anyway, this guy's in the military, ex-military, Air Force. U.S. Air Force from 2009 till 2013, after which he briefly taught at a summer Bible school. We're awaiting an update from the shooting. I'll take calls. I have to. It's my duty. There's the phone number, 650-GAY-TAXI. We're reporting the news for everybody while the world disintegrates. Donald Trump pulling off a coup here and in Saudi Arabia, trying to expose the Clinton cabal, we believe, in response somewhat to the Vegas shooting, which was a move against Trump, as some were saying. I didn't believe it at first, but that was a move against Trump, which involved intelligence from Saudi Arabia, I believe, at this time. But we have room for all kinds of beliefs here. Oh, great. North Korea.
Arizona, all military veterans and all but one a Democrat.
I want to hear what this is about.
Reports, they say the only way to destroy the rogue regime's weapons of mass destruction is an all-out assault.
Here we go.
In a blunt new assessment, the Pentagon warns Congress the only way to secure and eliminate North Korea's nuclear weapons located in deeply buried underground facilities would be to use U.S. troops to conduct a ground invasion.
It is the most bleak assessment. I've spent a lot of time reading the intelligence. I've had an opportunity to discuss the situation with Secretary Mattis. I believe that an outbreak of war would kill hundreds of thousands of people.
According to the letter penned by Rear Admiral Michael Dumont, Vice Director of the Pentagon's Joint Staff, and obtained by the Washington Post, North Korea's response would likely include the use of biological weapons and a long-standing chemical weapons program with the capability to produce nerve, blister, blood, and choking agents. 16 lawmakers, led by Congressman Ted Lieu of California and Ruben Gallego of Arizona, all military veterans and all but one a Democrat, signed a letter urging President Trump to stop making provocative statements that undermine
the phone
diplomacy.
wasn't open.
The president decided one day to tweet out that that was a waste of time.
The U.S. military has 375,000 U.S. military personnel under its Pacific Command.
Shooter has been reported
warships,
as Patrick
5 aircraft
Kelly.
carrier strike groups.
Jennifer Griffin,
Sorry.
live from the Pentagon. Jennifer, thank you. Joining us to talk more about
The shooter has been reported to be a guy named Patrick Kelly, a 26-year-old Air Force veteran.
and retired U.S. Navy Admiral.
Dead now,
Robert
deceased,
Natter.
shot by
Admiral,
police,
let me start with
apparently.
you. We've been around this block many times talking about the possible military options. You just heard Jennifer's piece, but it is.
Sorry, I was eating something. Did you hear that? I know it's gross. I was having some almond brittle. You ever had that before?
If North Korea
Phone wasn't. Oh. Now here.
Well, I think.
Let me pause that.
But based on.
Oops. I'll pick up the phone. This is Nathan. You're on the air.
Hey, buddy. This is Brutus Beefcake. Yeah, I just turned you on. You said something like nobody's calling you, so I figured I'd just call you, see what the hell's going on.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what? Somebody might have been calling me. I didn't have my phone open, but what's up? What do you think the hell's going on?
Today?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've been out, participating in a lot of debauchery last night. So
oh, were you? Yeah, boy.
I just got up, man. I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. Well, there's lots of stuff going on in the world, particularly in Saudi Arabia, but also here. Apparently, we had 24 people killed at a church today. That's the news.
Where at, buddy?
In Sutherland Springs, Texas. A 26-year-old Air Force veteran, they're saying now, killed 24 and wounded 27, or killed 27 and wounded 24. We're waiting on the press conference right now.
Yeah, well, I am an Air Force veteran. Used to work at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, Aeronautical Systems Division. What was up with this guy?
I don't know. They just released a name. Daily Beast just released a name on the guy, but they're not even saying that on the news yet. So we don't know much yet, except that he's apparently deceased.
Yeah, are you thinking what I'm thinking?
Very well might be, but it's hard to say. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm thinking that he's not, when I was in the Air Force, we brought in people from Haiti.
Mm.
And they were Air Force veterans. I was like, that's not even a state. I mean, you can bring them in from Puerto Rico, Haiti, and some other places. But.
Yeah, well, this guy's Patrick Kelly. Doesn't sound very Haitian, but I still don't. A lot of these mass shooters, it turns out they're somehow related to the military. And a lot of people are going to ask whether this really is what we're being told it is, and
right, yeah, I mean? Yeah, no, I wouldn't imagine somebody down the street that I know, a minority couple, naming their son Patrick. So
right.
that sounds like a white guy.
Yeah, sounds like it. So we'll see. Who knows if this is hard to say. There's a lot of weird stuff going on. This could be, I don't know if this would be orchestrated by Trump or by whatever the deep state is, or by Israel or Saudi Arabia. I mean, a lot of people are looking to destabilize this country, it seems like, right now.
Absolutely. I want to tell you a story. We talk about post-traumatic stress disorder, nowadays.
Yep.
Back when I was growing up, I don't want to tell you how old I am. I sound young, but I'm not. When I was walking around the streets back in Pennsylvania, bad place. Some places are good back there, but, back east, you need to, it's like New Jersey or New York, whatever. It's just bad.
Right.
But there was a guy, he was a World War II veteran, and we used to call him Judo Man. And if you came up too close to him, he would get into this judo stance. And the reason for that is because they taught these men to, martial arts when they were after we took over Japan and all that, they taught them martial arts and all that. And it screwed the guy up, post-traumatic stress disorder.
Mm-hmm.
We called it shell shock back then.
Right.
Now we call it, the clinical name, PTSD.
Right.
But, it's, there has to be something that we can do for these for these men that come back over here. And by the way, divorce could cause that too. I could tell you firsthand.
Right, right. Yeah, just being in a relationship can give you trauma. That's true. That's true.
Right. And one more question. I'm going to get off the phone. I won't bother you anymore. But why do you call it gay taxi, man?
Oh, it just happens to be what it works out to be. It's just kind of a goofy thing. It's just what the numbers are. I could make it something else taxi, but it's easy to remember. That's all.
Oh, that's cool. So you have a girlfriend and all that?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
That's cool.
Never
Hope
been
she loves
gay.
you, man.
Yeah,
Hope
yeah,
you guys
I think so.
Have a great life. I'll talk with you again. I just woke up and
Okay.
sounds stupid. I'm sure of it. But,
No, you sound like you're getting informed, which is good, and you already have an opinion on this stuff. So, thanks for calling in. I appreciate it.
You're welcome, buddy. God bless.
All right,
Bye-bye.
God bless. Okay, phone's still open. We're waiting on a press conference. I'm sure you'll see it as soon as it's available. We're streaming CNN and Fox right now. Let's see. Governor Abbott.
That all Texans pray for the Sutherland Springs community during this time of mourning and loss. Texas Senator Ted Cruz tweeted, "Keeping all harmed in Sutherland Springs in our prayers and grateful."
Taking calls, 650-429-8294.
Senator John Cornyn of Texas also tweeting, "Truly heartbreaking news in Sutherland Springs."
Please subscribe.
Please pray,
we're going to be covering all these
for
news
First Baptist
events.
Congregation, first responders, and the community.
I'm unemployed, and I do
House
my show out of my
Speaker Paul
dad's
Ryan
garage.
Also sending his.
I uniquely have time to do this. And so you'll be seeing it more. I have a feeling shit has gotten real, as they say.
The developments from Sutherland Springs, Texas, southeast of San Antonio. We are watching live pictures from the scene. The FBI and ATF are there. You can see a huge law enforcement.
Hopefully the stream won't get taken down.
We are awaiting that press conference where Texas
I streamed for over 12 hours yesterday.
About the tragedy. We will bring that all
we
to
take
you
phone
live
calls.
when
We
it
get really
happens.
interesting.
You are inside the CNN newsroom. Stay with us. We're back in a moment.
We get really interesting calls. Okay, nothing there. Nothing there. Commercial. I'll show you me. Hey, I'm your host, Nathan Stoltman. Oh, wow, the sun's coming in. I was going to open the window. I won't hear the phone ringing, though, if I do that. It's nice out today. It's nice. But did you set your clocks back? The sun's going to be down early. This is when it comes in really bright. You see that, right? Oh, I'm showing you this because shit is going down on YouTube too. I already had my main channel terminated, 30,000 subs. My second channel terminated, not terminated, but it's dark now. This is Nathan. You're on the air.
Hey, Nathan. My Skies 5D YouTube channel.
What's up, man?
Hey, I wanted to bring up the aspect of the electromagnetic radiation that's pouring through our atmosphere right now.
Electromagnetic radiation from a solar flare?
That's one thing that just happened. We had one go off on the 29th, and, you know, it takes about 3 days, 72 hours for it to arrive, so it just arrived not too long ago. But there was also the largest solar flare that's gone off in 15 years happened right before the Vegas shooting. And there was an Oregon shooting where a guy drove up from Northern California to a resort on the Oregon coast and shot a cook at random, stole his car, went out to the highway, and started shooting at cars and got ran over and killed. Also, several subscribers during the same time frame had upheavals with relationships in their life. So these solar flares definitely have psychological and physiological effects on us.
They do, yeah. I haven't looked into it, but it certainly seems. Why are they so? They're way more active than they should be right now, right?
Well, we're in something called the grand solar minimum, but we've entered the photon belt. It's a denser part of our atmosphere that has a higher photonic light potential. It's like moving through a extra viscosity part of our atmosphere, and it's compressing our magnetosphere and causing huge breaches in it. That's what chemtrails are doing. That's keeping a nanoprotective coating up there so these particles don't reach further down into our atmosphere. I'm documenting it on my channel regularly. If you'd like to come check my channel out later when you get a chance, it's My Skies 5D.
My Skies 5D. Okay, cool. I'll look it up and show it to people.
Thanks, Nathan. You're doing a great job. I really appreciate your channel. I've been subbed to you for a long time.
Oh, cool, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for calling in and contributing to the show.
Keep rocking on.
Okay, I will. Cheers. Oh, that's cool. People love this show. Hold on. People do love this show. Boop. This is his channel, My Skies 5D. I don't know. Somebody said effing conspiracy theorist. Yeah, people who watch this channel are kind of conspiracy theorists. I am too. Like, for example, I don't know whether I should believe that there were 24 people killed and 27 injured. Out of a congregation of 50, 51 people were shot. 24 of them killed. We presume they were killed on the site, not taken to the hospital or anything. Declared dead right there. 24 to 27. Patrick Kelly. Phone's open. As soon as I'm going to interrupt a caller if they get to this news conference. We're looking at it there from the Fox News feed. CNN will be carrying it too. Give me a like, give me a share, give me a thumbs up. We bring you the real shit. This is the real shit right here. The real S, I should say. We're waiting for the press conference right now. Thanks for tuning in. Be cool if I got some other YouTubers. Richie from Boston's channel is terminated, by the way. Devin Kelly. Okay. So first it was Patrick. Oh, Devin Patrick Kelly. Yeah. Devin Patrick Kelly. Hold on.
The block from this church are awaiting word on their loved ones, no doubt some also at those hospitals, as we are getting word again. Law enforcement officials confirming with our very own Rick Leventhal that the shooter's identity, the name, is Devin Patrick Kelly, a 26-year-old male from a community just outside of San Antonio, Brett.
Okay, Brian, thank you. We are just minutes away from that news conference. Let's go to Lone Star State, where Fox 7.
This is Nathan. You're on the air.
Hey, Nathan, it's Sly, bro.
Hey, Sly, what's up?
Hey, buddy. I just wanted to say, when can we go from being conspiracy theorists to just truth seekers? You know what I mean?
Today, starting now.
Right, I just wanted to throw that out there, and then I just wanted to bring to your attention. I didn't know if you had noticed yet, but when you go back to the press conference, InfoWars is there. That one dude with the glasses and the curly hair. I see him right there on the left-hand side of the screen. He's holding like maybe a GoPro or something, or some kind of camera on just like a stick, you know.
How would he know to be there? How would he know to be there? I see the guy you're talking about. That guy's from InfoWars?
Yeah, he's always on InfoWars.
Oh, man. Is InfoWars happen to be streaming this right now?
I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't be too far out for them to be there, considering they're in Austin. I don't know the exact distance from there to there, but, I mean, I guess it wouldn't be too...
Oh, yeah. I'm watching his feed right now. I'm watching his feed right now. Oh, I see. It's close to. Okay, I understand. InfoWars is in Austin, Texas.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, he's there. I'm watching it on the Alex Jones channel right now.
Also, about the whole November 4th, the Antifa stuff and everything. I don't know. I really haven't done too much investigate. I did a little bit, but maybe the people in the chat and stuff. All the friends can figure it out, but when did that start? I'd like to know if that happened after October 1st.
When did they start planning it, you mean? I heard someone say weeks. Someone said weeks of planning.
Kind of significant to who might be involved. I mean, if people are thinking it might be Soros and stuff like that, because I know Antifa might be or probably is a front for the American Communist Party, you know, that's pretty much run by Carl Dix and what's that other gentleman's name? Bob Avathian, I think it is. And yeah, so they're pretty much the head of the Communist Party, and in some of the Carl Dix videos that I was researching yesterday, he's wearing the exact shirt that it seemed like everybody was holding the signs, and they had the shirt, you know, the black shirts with the white big no on it and stuff like that. right? The signs and the shirts that everybody it seemed like that was protesting yesterday had on. I noticed that he was wearing one of those. So I was just curious if maybe those guys were funded by, or who they were funded by. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I'm curious too. Who was behind the protests yesterday and why they were relatively tame. You didn't have the subversive elements or the agent provocateur there. The way we might have expected. We thought it was going to break out into some kind of violence and it didn't seem to. So curious who was behind it. Curious what the motive was.
I'm curious too, and I'm curious to know if it all ties together, like how much they play on our emotions. Because if they plan stuff like that, it's like highs and lows. You know what I mean? It's like they plan stuff like that, and then it's like, oh, that's a dud. And it's like, do they plan stuff like that and then make it a dud? So people's emotions are more played with today. You know what I mean? Right. In a way, like it just trips me out a little bit, because if there was just mass chaos yesterday, riots in the street and everything, I just don't think today would have been, as noticeable maybe as it is right now. I don't know.
Right. What if we had riots yesterday and this mass shooting today? I mean, the thing is, a lot of mass shootings happen and they kind of aren't that big of a deal. But when the numbers are like this, 20, more than 20 dead, I mean, man, that's more than...
You kind of touched on something that was brought to my attention. I've been pondering it ever since, was that they're literally saying that every person in that church was touched in one way or another.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? By bullets.
Yeah. How's that possible?
Which is kind of a trip, because I mean, you figure unless so also on that church, I mean, is there not more than one exit?
Right.
Was the exit close it off on the other side? Was there somebody on the other side blocking them? And I mean, if one person's coming in with a gun, don't you think there's going to be people? I mean, that small of a church,
right?
And it's close to a field. I mean, it's wide open. Somebody's going to run out. Somebody's going to get away. I just don't see every single person getting touched. I don't know, man.
Right. Well, how is it possible? I mean, with one, and he have to reload at some point. I mean, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't. You would see bodies strewn outside and stuff. I mean,
yeah, and you're exactly right. Yeah. And that's the part that kind of plays with with my, I shouldn't speak for everybody, but with my emotions, is that it like at the same time, it doesn't make sense. But for the fact that I wasn't there, that's why I'm so confused about everything. You know what I mean? I wasn't there, so I don't truly know. You never truly know unless you're there. Right. You're never going to know truly unless you're there. But just the facts that they try to tell us, the people that we're supposed to trust to give us the facts, it just doesn't seem to add up, man.
Right.
And yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say. So
well, let's keep watching.
Yeah, definitely, brother. Have a good, blessed rest of your day, man.
Thanks very much. Thanks for the call, Sly.
You got it, brother.
Cheers. So what Sly pointed out was pretty astute of him. Pretty astute. Is that this feed on the right side is from InfoWars. They're there at the press conference, which is pretty quick response time, but they could have driven out. I mean, if it were me, I would have. If I knew I could show up at a press conference, I would have. I don't know how you get in. You need press credentials or something. It's just regular. Nobody's talking over it or anything. But this is on the Alex Jones channel. Here's what they're saying on Fox.
Now, as we move forward, I've known and worked with the sheriff for many years. He's an outstanding sheriff, an outstanding individual. My job now is to make sure that he and his people of Sutherland Springs have access to every resource available to them.
Phone's
I'll
open.
make sure that they have everything they need. Sutherland Springs has a special place.
Richie from Boston has a new channel. Let's see.
It is one of these unique communities where everyone knows everyone else and supports each other.
Oh, that's not
I can
good.
recall local fundraisers at the volunteer fire department, where basically everyone in the entire area would come out to support these volunteers. We hold monthly neighborhood office hours in Sutherland Springs to make sure
this is Nathan.
that we stay connected to that.
This is Nathan.
Hey.
Hey. Sorry, let me stop the. Yeah, let me just
control
control myself here. There we go. Yeah, I can hear you. How you doing?
Okay, I'm swell. How are you?
I'm doing great, thanks.
My channel is the Daisy Dame channel, and I also report on what people would consider conspiracy or truthers.
Okay, Daisy Dame, like
Yeah, Daisy
okay.
Dame, like Bon Daisy, but it's Daisy Dame for short.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
I just wanted to make a point, as the others were, about us being in fear and afraid of what's going on.
Yes, go ahead.
I think it's absolutely to keep us under control, and I'm 110% with them about the chemtrails as well. You know, these are all things that are being used to control us, and as the other person had said, we can't really even tell unless we're there what's actually happening, what's really going on there.
Right.
So how can we say, you know, even with the Las Vegas shooting, how can we say, you know, we can only guesstimate from our position, our seats. That is my page, yeah.
Okay, cool. We have the press conference, it looks like. So are you Daisy Von Bon Daisy? Or Dan Von Bon Daisy? Is that you?
Yes, that's
okay.
me.
Okay, I found your page. Okay, cool. It looks like the press conference is starting. So I'm going to tune into that.
Do it. Well, thank you for having me on.
Okay, cheers.
As a state, we are dealing with the largest mass shooting in our state's history. There's so many families who've lost family members. Fathers, mothers, sons, and daughters. The tragedy, of course, is worsened by the fact that it occurred in a church, a place of worship, where these people were innocently gunned down. We mourn their loss, but we support their family members. We appreciate the first responders and what they've done to help respond to this challenge. They are continuing in their efforts as they put all the pieces of the largest mass shooting in our state's history. There's so many families who've lost family members. Fathers, mothers, sons, and daughters. The tragedy, of course, is worsened by the fact that it occurred in a church, a place of worship, where these people were innocently gunned down. We mourn their loss, but we support their family members. We appreciate the first responders and what they've done to help respond to this challenge. They are continuing in their efforts as they put all the pieces of a very complex puzzle together to try to provide their community all the answers they need and deserve. Unfortunately, I'm sad to tell you, to confirm, at least at this moment in time, there are 26 lives that have been lost. We don't know if that number will rise or not. All we know is that's too many. And this will be a long, suffering mourning for those in pain. We ask for God's comfort, for God's guidance, and for God's healing for all those who are suffering. As governor, I ask for every mom and dad at home tonight that you put your arm around your kid and give your kid a big hug and let them know how much you love them, knowing that we support each other. Tell your friend and your neighbor that you support them and that you will work with them. I'm very proud of the way that we have so many people working together to respond to this. Already, in talking to the emergency team in Texas, reported that the emergency medical task force from San Antonio was deployed to help respond to the magnitude of this tragedy. San Antonio area hospitals and trauma centers have coordinated with regard to patient movement and patient care. The Red Cross has set up Family Assistance Center to help all families affected by this. One thing that is very important for everybody affected by this, whether you're a family member or non-family member is that you avail yourself of counseling resources that will be made readily available in abundance. Now, we have so many people who have helped respond in coordinated fashion already. I want to express my gratitude to the President who called from overseas. My gratitude to Senators Cornyn and Cruz, with whom I've already spoken, as well as members of the Texas legislature. But when you look at the robust response from just the immediate area, I want to express my gratitude to the Sheriff of Wilson County, to the District Attorney from this area, Audrey Lewis. The reason I say this area is because her territory is larger than just Wilson County. And to DPS Regional Director Freeman Martin. Each of those three will be speaking shortly. But also to the mayor of the area where we are located right now, the mayor of Stockdale, to the Department of Homeland Security, to the ATF, the FBI, the Bexar County Sheriff's Office, the Guadalupe County Sheriff's Office, the Wilson County Sheriff's Office, the Livernia Police Department, the Stockdale City Marshal's Office, and the Seguin Police Department. And I have no doubt that there are other law enforcement as well as emergency agencies that have responded to this. And I regret if I did not mention you. Just know that we appreciate the profound way that everybody's come together. I would like to now turn things over to Sheriff Joe Tackett from Wilson County, in whose jurisdiction the crime occurred and whose jurisdiction we're in right now.
Thank you, Governor. Thank you for your kind words. We all in here know what happened today, and it's something we all say does not happen in small communities. Well, we found out today it does. We need your support. You know, as media, don't blow it out there that, you know, it should have never happened, because it does happen. And we sincerely feel sorry for all of the people that are involved. We don't know names of any of the victims at this time, because we're still trying to work the crime scene. As we get the names, we're going to be contacting family members and letting them know what we have. But at this time, we don't have any names of any of the victims. Thank you.
Zero information.
Next is the District Attorney, Audrey Lewis.
The sheriff, they're like, great job.
We know that you have lots of questions that you want answers to, but understand this: our #1 priority and goal is to the victims.
Is she wearing a neck brace under that scarf?
And we ask that you respect that as well. We want to make sure to notify victims' families before media gets a hold of that information. It is critical to those families that if we have bad news to bear, they need to hear it before it's announced on the media, and we're going to try to work to ensure that that occurs. We have lots of law enforcement who are all working very well together with federal and local and state agencies.
Okay, can I just point out that the governor was in a wheelchair and this woman seems to be wearing a neck brace, which she's trying to cleverly cover up with a scarf? Is that weird?
And we highly commend the professionalism that's occurring, but because we have to make sure that that crime scene is handled appropriately, it takes time. And unfortunately, that leaves a lot of victims' families wanting answers that we don't really have for them at this very moment. We will be updating them as soon as we have information and providing that information so that they have the answers they need to deal with either the loss or go to their loved ones who may be in the hospital. We appreciate the work of all law enforcement, and we appreciate you guys. We know that you're trying to get out information.
I'll be able to rewind this.
We don't feel there is a threat that's continuing, and I think that the media has done a pretty good job of making sure that that's been pronounced.
Designer neck brace.
But we are working very diligently both to inform the families and to preserve that crime scene and make sure that it's handled appropriately. So thank you all for your time.
Thank you. And next is DPS Regional Director Freeman Martin.
Everybody here wants facts, wants information about what's going on, and we'd love to provide you more. But if you came here wanting to know the motive behind this shooting, you're going to leave here disappointed. We have certain facts that we can release to protect the integrity of the investigation. we have to release it in a timely fashion and collect the facts and make sure our information is correct before we release it. We're here assisting the Sheriff, Joe Tackett. There's multiple agencies involved: DPS, Texas Rangers, FBI, HSI, ATF, Bexar County SO, and many, many others. We are all working together to support the Sheriff in this investigation. At approximately 11:20 this morning, a suspect was seen at a Valero gas station in Sutherland Springs, Texas. He was dressed in all black. That suspect crossed the street to the church, exited his vehicle, and began firing at the church. That suspect then moved to the right side of the church and continued to fire.
Hold on, I have to take notes.
That suspect entered the church.
I have to take notes because we'll see if this changes. Hold on one sec, guys. I have to do my professional job here. Okay. What are these things called? Sutherland Springs Baptist Church shooting. Okay, let's see what the timeline is.
Facts and make sure our information is correct before we release it. We're here assisting the Sheriff, Joe Tackett. There's multiple agencies involved: DPS, Texas Rangers, FBI, HSI, ATF, Bexar County SO, and many, many others. We are all working together to support the Sheriff in this investigation. At approximately 11:20 this morning, a suspect was seen at a Valero gas station in Sutherland Springs, Texas. He was dressed in all black. That suspect crossed the street to the church, exited his vehicle, and began firing at the church. That suspect then moved to the right side of the church and continued to fire. That suspect entered the church and continued to fire. As he exited the church, a local resident grabbed his rifle and engaged that suspect. The suspect dropped his rifle, which was a Ruger AR assault type rifle, and fled from the church. Our local citizen pursued the suspect at that time. A short time later, as law enforcement responded, that suspect, right at the Wilson, Guadalupe County line, he ran off the roadway and crashed out and was found deceased in his vehicle. At this time, we don't know if it was a self-inflicted gunshot wound or if he was shot by our local resident who engaged him in gunfire. We know he's deceased in the vehicle. The suspect has not been completely identified. We believe he's a young white male, maybe in his early 20s. He was dressed in all black tactical type gear and was wearing a ballistic vest. The delay in getting him identified is there were multiple weapons in the vehicle, and the vehicle has been processed by our Texas Ranger Special Operations Group bomb techs. There's a lot of work to be done in this investigation. We know that there are 23 found deceased inside the church, 2 deceased outside the church, and now one of them that was transported that was injured has deceased, bringing the total to 26. We have approximately 20 that are transported local and in hospitals in San Antonio with injuries that vary from minor to very severe. We know the ages range from 5 years old to 72 years of age. There's a lot of work to be done. We are only hours into this investigation, which is going to take a significant length of time. We will continue to provide information as it becomes available. We know you're going to have a lot of questions. There are many, many that we cannot answer. We continue to process crime scenes. We have multiple crime scenes. We have the church. We have outside the church. We have where the suspect vehicle was located. We have following up on the suspect and where he's from, his residence. We have many, many people to interview. We have Texas Rangers at all the hospitals locating those and interviewing those who were injured. So not a lot of information to give at this time, but the state of Texas, we have every resource that we have available: Texas Rangers, Special Operations, Texas Highway Patrol, Crime Scene Labs, Victim Services, the Texas Division of Emergency Management. Every resource we have available is working, and at the end of this investigation, we'll be able to answer any reasonable question as to what happened.
Was the neighbor injured? The one that engaged gunfire?
No, he was not. With that,
great. Well, thank you all, and thanks once again to law enforcement at all levels, from the local level to the state level to the federal level. The collaborative working relationship is one that will ensure a swift and certain evaluation of exactly what happened, and we will provide that explanation as quickly as possible. We will be leaving here and going to meet with some of the family members of those affected as soon as we finish up, but we'll take a few questions.
How many were in the church and how many state?
Somebody should ask him. There was a 5-year-old shot. That would be the first question. He said something. So anyway, hopefully somebody asks him. He says the age range. I took notes on everything he said. Should I go over those again? I'll go over the notes for what happened, okay? Suspect was seen at a Valero gas station, dressed all in black. Tactical gear. Crossed the street to the church and began firing. Moved to the right side of the church and continued firing. Entered the church and continued firing. As he exited the church, a local resident engaged the suspect. The suspect dropped his weapon, which was a Ruger assault rifle of some sort. He began to flee, and the local citizen pursued him. A short time later, at the Wilson-Guadalupe County line, the suspect crashed his vehicle and was found deceased. Not sure if, and deceased with a gunshot wound, it sounds like. He didn't make that crystal clear. Not sure if that was self-inflicted or otherwise. Not completely identified, but it's a young white male in his early 20s. So the news has identified him as a Devin Patrick Kelly, a veteran, or Air Force veteran. Let's see. But they just said young white male, early 20s with tactical gear and a ballistic vest. Not identified yet because of all the guns in his car. Basically, 23 deceased inside the church out of apparently a congregation of 50 people. 23 deceased inside the church, 2 outside the church. 1 person who was transferred to a hospital has died, for a total of 25. 20 are in local hospitals with injuries ranging from minor to severe. The ages of your victims, now this is where are 5 to 22 years old. So the first question I would ask is, there was a 5-year-old shot? That's what I'd want to know. And none of the victims are being identified. There are multiple scenes, he says, which he identified a few: church, outside the church, vehicle, residence, etc. Okay? So that's the story he told. I have it in case anything changes, like it did in Las Vegas. We'll see. Hopefully they'll get a chance to ask more questions. But I just told you the whole story again. It's important. I don't know why the governor is in a wheelchair. I wish I did. Or why the one person was wearing a neck brace. Wish I did.
Anybody who knows that?
We don't have those numbers. There were people in the church that escaped that were not in.
Of the family members of those affected as soon as we finish up, but we'll take a few questions.
How many were in the church and how many state death or being wounded?
Anybody who knows that?
We don't have those numbers. There were people in the church that escaped that were not injured, but we don't have all that information. I'm sorry.
Was West being held at the time?
Yes.
Was the suspected shooter a part of any sort of known militia group? Is that being investigated? Not at this time.
That is being investigated, but we haven't. We can't say one way or the other.
What about him was suspicious to begin with, or what initiated the original call?
Those are the types of things that are under intense investigation right now, and hopefully we will learn about them in the next 24 hours.
The revised total of victims, that does not include the shooter, correct?
Correct. That's correct.
Can you tell us anything about a possible raid on the suspect's home?
All those types of things will be pieces of information that will be coming out shortly.
Were any victims outside the church?
Yes.
Do you know anything about any social media postings that he might have hinted that he would have done this?
All of those types of things are being looked into as we speak.
Please take one more question.
When are you going to know if the shooter's family was...
Say again?
The shooter's family was in attendance at the church at the time, or I didn't mention it?
Unaware of that.
When we release his name?
As soon as possible.
Was he known to the community, or was he an outsider?
We will confirm that when we learn it.
How can people help?
As I think you're realizing, there's a lot of information. We want to piece the puzzle together. before we provide you any misinformation, and we want to make sure that we meet with the family members who are affected by this before we release information publicly. We hope to get this information to you as soon as possible. Thank you all very much.
And the call that came in was an active shooter. There was no calls that came in of a suspicious person or anything before.
So how did y'all know he was at the Valero?
After the fact, we started investigating and found out that he was
Videotape of the service?
No, they haven't gotten it yet.
All right.
Okay, we were listening in there to a news conference with the governor and several law enforcement officials from Texas as they just briefed the nation on what the governor called the largest mass shooting in Texas history. He confirmed at least 26 people lost their lives as a gunman opened fire inside a small church in Sutherland Springs, Texas this morning around 11:30 this morning during the church service. We did get additional information about exactly what unfolded. Let me walk you through that in case you missed it. They've since learned, as they pieced this together, that there was a sighting of the gunman around 11:20 this morning at a nearby gas station, a Valero gas station. The suspect was seen dressed in all black. We learned he fired from outside the church first and continued firing as he entered the church. We know the victims range in age from 5 to 72 years old. Again, at least 26 people are dead. Many others have been taken to the hospital. That suspect continued firing in the church and then eventually left. We understand a citizen grabbed his or her gun and returned fire.
I already told you guys that. I'm downloading the police audio right now. Well, fire and rescue. I'm going to 11:20. When apparently something happened. We'll see. We'll see if anything happened. I'm sure it's a pretty sleepy town. Wilson County. Wilson County, Texas. They don't have anything for police radio, fortunately. No names. You know what I want to play you? That freaking the freaking sheriff. He's the guy. Sorry, I'm slamming on my keyboard. The sheriff was the guy that was interesting. Everybody seems very calm and defending themselves. I'm listening to the police radio to see if anything happens. Oh, not police, fire and rescue. I don't know how to scan through it just to see. I think I can change the speed. I'm going to play you what this guy said. Maybe if we see something come over police radio. Can I speed this up? Nothing yet. Nothing yet. Controls. No. Okay. We're listening supposedly to Sutherland Springs police radio. Nothing on it. Nothing on it, though. Okay. Okay. Listen to this then. I'll keep that playing in the back.
Thank you, Governor. Thank you for your kind words. We all in here know what happened today, and it's something we all say does not happen in small communities. Well, we found out today it does. We need your support. You know, as media, don't blow it out there that, you know, it should have never happened, because it does happen. And we sincerely feel sorry for all of the people that are involved. We don't know names of any of the victims at this time because we're still trying to work the crime scene. As we get the names, we're going to be contacting family members and letting them know what we have. But at this time, we don't have any names of any of the victims. Thank you.
All right, I'm going back to more like real time. I'll go live.
Sutherland Springs, a tiny community described as a one blinking light kind of town, 30 miles east of San Antonio. And tonight there is a massive crime scene there. Officials say the gunman was dressed in all black, armed with a .223 rifle when he attacked the First Baptist Church. He fired multiple shots at victims who ranged in age from 5 to 72 years old. CNN has confirmed one of those victims who was killed in this tragedy is the pastor's 14-year-old daughter. Texas Governor Greg Abbott becoming emotional as he described the magnitude of this tragedy.
As a state, we are dealing with the largest mass shooting in our state's history. There's so many families who've lost family members, fathers, mothers, sons, and daughters. The tragedy, of course, is worsened by the fact that it occurred in a church, a place of worship, where these people were innocently gunned down.
26 lives lost. We are told the shooter died after a brief chase into a neighboring county. There's still no word on a motive, but we are getting new information about how the attack unfolded. Listen.
At approximately 11:20 this morning, a suspect was seen at a Valero gas station in Sutherland Springs, Texas.
I already
He was dressed in
repeated
all
that
black.
for you. I'll let it play again.
Crossed the street
Doesn't make much
to
sense.
the church, exited his vehicle, and began firing at the church. The suspect then moved to the right side of the church and continued to fire. That suspect entered the church and continued to fire. As he exited the church, a local resident grabbed his rifle and engaged that suspect. The suspect dropped his rifle, which was a Ruger AR assault type rifle, and fled from the church. Our local citizen pursued the suspect at that time. A short time later, as law enforcement responded, that suspect, right at the Wilson, Guadalupe County line, he ran off the roadway and crashed out and was found deceased in his vehicle. At this time, we don't know if it was a self-inflicted gunshot wound or if he was shot by our local resident who engaged him in gunfire. We know he's deceased in the vehicle. The suspect has not been completely identified. We believe he's a young white male, maybe in his early 20s. He was dressed in all black tactical type gear and was wearing a ballistic vest.
Now, President Trump has been briefed on this situation. He's in Japan. He offered his prayers and support. We know he called Governor Greg Abbott. We are expecting to hear from the president at any moment. In the meantime, I want to bring in CNN's Kaylee Hartung. And Kaylee, what more are we learning now about the victims?
Well, for one, we have a number, 26 dead. Anna, we know the age ranges from 5 to 72 years old among them.
How did reporters stupid? When the
23 people were shot inside.
Wouldn't it be like a 5-year-old got shot? Tell me about that. Were there children there? I mean, really? I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
First Baptist Church. The gunman shot 2 people outside of the church, and 1 person was transported to a nearby hospital and died there. This number, 26 dead in what is the largest mass shooting in Texas's history. Anna, as we've mentioned, we have one ID of one of the victims. That would be the 14-year-old daughter of First Baptist Church's pastor, and we will be standing by to learn more about those. As officials explained, their top priority right now.
She's smiling, right?
Families.
As we know,
this is still an active and a complex crime scene
dead.
Inside First Baptist Church. The process of IDing the victims and sharing that information with the families is an arduous one, and one that will take time.
Kaylee, the FBI is on scene, the ATF, Texas Rangers, all assisting local officials. What are you learning about the investigation?
Well, the investigation, as we've heard from officials in this press conference, is going to take some time. Again, the first known location of that shooter at 11:20 this morning, when he was seen at a gas station just across the street wearing that all black gear. Officials not ready to share a name of the suspect with us, as the car that he was found in, deceased, is part of this investigation. They say there were multiple weapons inside that vehicle that he fled the church with when he was chased by a local resident who pulled out his own rifle. So we will be, again, standing by for more information to learn the ID of this suspect. And as I have had locals in this community express to me, their fear is that it will be someone they know, because this is such a tight-knit community. Officials keeping a lot of cards in this investigation very close to the vest as it continues. And you can only imagine that one very important piece of this investigation could be video from inside the church. For the last 3 years, this church has recorded its services and posted it on their YouTube channel. Let's show this video with the disclaimer that this was a video taken a week ago in last Sunday's church service, but it gives you an idea of the scene inside First Baptist Church any other Sunday.
Does it look like 50 people would be in there?
Again, this video from last Sunday's church service at First Baptist Church. They've
Here,
been
and you can see it says
these
witness
videos on their
reporting,
YouTube channel.
hearing 20 shots fired. That's what the witness said.
For 3 years, Anna. So there is every reason to believe that today they would have been recording this Sunday morning service, and that video could be of great help to investigators.
Yeah, no kidding.
Kaylee Hartung, you'll stay on top of the investigation for us. Thank you for that report. I want to bring in our two law enforcement analysts who have been here with us, James Galliano, a retired FBI supervisory agent, and Cheryl Dorsey, who is with the LAPD, retired sergeant with the LAPD. Cheryl, I'll start with you. We're learning a lot about exactly what unfolded, but we don't know a lot about the suspect, only that he is a white male, believed to be in his early 20s, according to the officials. They don't know even if he was from inside or outside the community. They were asked.
He's been named, so I don't know why they're pretending now that he hasn't. This guy, Devin Patrick Kelly. Devin Patrick Kelly, Air Force veteran.
He's even a congregant, right?
They already identified where he's from.
Service was 30 minutes.
That he's from outside of San Antonio. He's not from necessarily the area. Just want to show you a little infographic. Let me put it up on my thing. For military veterans involved in mass shootings. Fort Hood, Texas. Major Nidal Malik Hassan, Army psychiatrist. Entered the medical deployment center at Fort Hood in Texas. Opened fire, killing 13 people and wounding another 32. Was shot and wounded by civilian police. Arrested, charged, and sentenced to death. Largest mass murder at a military installation in American history. Oak Creek, Wisconsin. I believe that's what a WI is. Wade Michael Page, 40, opened fire at a Sikh temple in Oak Creek, Wisconsin, killing 6 people and wounding 4 others before killing himself after being shot by police. He was a white supremacist, believed to have been radicalized at a North Carolina Army base in the 1990s. He was a veteran, served from 92 to 98, but was never deployed. Aaron Alexis, 34, contractor for a private IT firm, opened fire at Washington Navy Yard, killing 12 and wounding 4 before he was shot and killed. He had been a sailor in the Navy from 2007 to 2011, was also in the Individual Ready Reserve. The FBI found in that case multiple indicators that Alexis held a delusional belief that he was being controlled or influenced by extremely low frequency electromagnetic waves. April 2nd, 2014, another Fort Hood shooting. Ivan Antonio Lopez, 34, an active duty soldier, opened fire at several locations on the Fort Hood Army base in Texas. 3 soldiers were killed and 12 were wounded. He committed suicide. His story, let's see. In August 2011, okay, according to Fort Hood's commander, he exhibited symptoms of, quote, unstable psychiatric or psychological conditions, unquote. But an official Army investigation concluded there was, quote, no indication in his medical or personnel records suggesting that Specialist Lopez was likely to commit a violent act. That was April 2014. May 29th, 2016, Deniso Garcia III, 25, a California Army veteran, shot a man with a pistol at a tire store, then fired at responding officers with an AR-15 assault-style rifle before being shot by a SWAT officer. Killed 1 person, injured 6 others. Family members told NBC News he appeared to be suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. Houston police said he suffered from depression and may have been dealing with, quote, a mental health crisis, unquote. Army veteran. July 7, 2016, Dallas, Texas. Army veteran Micah Johnson, 25, shot 12 police officers, killing 5 in an ambush attack during a peaceful protest in Dallas, Texas. Following the shooting of black men. Oh, this is the black guy? Oh, yeah, this was the Black Lives Matter thing. I followed this. This didn't happen. This was like to start a race war. Dallas, Texas, following the shooting of black men by police in Louisiana and Minnesota. They fake the shooting of black men by police too, by the way. I've covered that before. I had incontrovertible evidence of that. In Baton Rouge, July 17th, 2016, Gavin Long shot 6 police officers with an AR-15 on his 29th birthday, killing 3, wounding 3 others before being shot and killed by police. Long was a Marine sergeant who served from 2005 to 2010, was deployed to Iraq from June 2008 to January 2009. Fort Lauderdale, January 6, 2017. Esteban Santiago opened fire at Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport in Florida, killing 5 people and wounding 8 others before being taken into custody. New Jersey native served in the National Guard in Puerto Rico for 6 years and served a tour of duty in Iraq around 2009-2010, according to his brother. He was discharged for unsatisfactory performance. Okay, so those are all the military-aligned mass shooters. And some of those mass shootings, I can tell you from my experience, didn't happen. They were false flags or hoaxes or whatever you want to call them. But some of these guys claim to be under mind control. Plenty of them claim to, they say, were suffering from psychological problems. One of them was an Army psychiatrist himself. Fairly routine. Okay, and then we have what's going on in Saudi Arabia. In case I didn't catch you up on that. Saudi helicopter carrying 8 high-ranking officials and Prince bin Mukrin crashed near the Yemen border, all dead. I don't know if this has been updated. Apparently he was dishonorably discharged. Let's see. They talk about the press conference, which we saw. Boy, I'll tell you that that guy in the press conference, he was pretty weak. The sheriff was pretty weak. So now you've had time to formulate an opinion. Why don't you call in? Why don't you call in and tell me what you think? Is the world on fire? 650-429-8294. 650-GAY-TAXI. Thanks for listening. Thanks for subscribing. I'm going to be bringing you a lot of these live streams, I think, as the world crumbles. I don't have gainful employment. I do my show out of my garage. I can show you that. Sometimes I show. Maybe I will. I'm old school. Old school? I don't know. I'll answer this. This is Nathan. You're on the air.
Hey there, Nathan. This is King Joe.
Hey, King Joe. What's up?
Not much, man. Just tuned into your live stream about 30 minutes ago. And I know you've been live streaming all day, but I just want to say I appreciate you putting in the hard work again for delivering us the news and all that stuff.
It's my pleasure.
For sure. And I, you know, of course, I always have a bigger news article in the picture, you know, for if this is a cover-up or whatever. I don't want to talk about that yet, but apparently the National Security Agency, the NSA, forces loyal to President Donald Trump, and they, well, hold up, let me let's see. Actually, I'll reread it again. NSA forces loyal to President Donald Trump have moved, quote-unquote, rampage bloodbath they've initiated against their deep state enemies to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
Yes, okay.
And later on...
What are you reading from? You want to give me a link or anything?
This is whatdoesitmean.com.
Oh, whatdoesitmean.com. A lot of people are reading from that lately.
It's the first news article they just uploaded today, so I don't know. They don't put times on there, so like you never know, you know, But
Right.
like this is some pretty big news to talk about. It goes into detail about the Bush crime family and the Clinton crime family with like terrorists funding them and all that stuff. So it's a pretty cool article to look at.
Yeah, and it's kind of what I was saying too, is that there's this kind of coup going on against the deep state, supposedly, and in Saudi Arabia. I'll read this article. Yeah, it's I was saying that was what's going on. Donald Trump just took over Saudi Arabia, or was involved in basically a type of counter coup or coup. Pretty interesting.
Oh wow, that's interesting. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I know it's the GOP taking over the Middle East again.
Well, yeah, or flushing out adversaries at least. You know, apparently these other Saudis, the ones that are all arrested and everything, were really pro-ISIS, and the other ones weren't.
Right. That's what it's looking like, and it's shocking to see that. If it's true or not, you know, with the Bush and Clinton families, if like them getting funded from all these terrorists, but I wouldn't doubt it if it's true.
Yeah, yeah, that's where I'm leaning right now. Is that the Bush, Obama, Clinton crime syndicate was in bed with these Wahhabi or Salafist Saudi Sunnis, you know, bringing them into the country, having them. So it seems to me that that's what's up, and Trump's trying to run them out, and to some extent, maybe exposing Clinton and Podesta at the same time, maybe.
Yeah, for sure.
So definitely something going on.
Yeah, well, that's all I had for you. Continue Vape Nation. I just want to say that.
Okay, Vape Nation.
Yeah. Yep. Cheers.
All right, cheers, man. Yeah, everybody live streams vapes. That's the thing to do. I'm not allowed to vape, or somebody told me I can't vape on, I can't vape cannabis anymore on camera because Twitch, even though they don't censor, apparently they censor drug use, but it's legal. I don't know. Totally legal. I have a prescription. I'm in California, for F's sake. He was referencing this article on whatisitmean.com as the first article. Deep state bloodbath moves to Saudi Arabia as Trump NSA forces continue rampage. Ministry of Foreign Affairs report. So these guys get information from Russians, apparently. NSA forces loyal to Donald Trump have moved the rampage bloodbath they've initiated against their deep state enemies to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. That's what's going on. Where just hours ago, Prince Mohammed bin Salman began a shocking purge of the government by his ordering the immediate arrest of 10 senior princes and over 38 ministers due to money laundering. And if there was money laundering, it might have been related to Las Vegas. So, over terrorist money laundering associations with both the Bush crime family and the Clinton crime family. And that includes one of the richest men in the world, Prince Al-Walid bin Talal, who, in an article I referred to earlier, Nikes. Where would that article be? I have a lot of different things going on. Oh, here's Trump.
Reporters at that time, he didn't really want to get into the issue of gun control. And so let's listen to what the president has to say. We understand he started speaking.
Thank you for representing, Bill, so well the interests of the American people in Japan and the incredible relationship that you have with Japan. We really appreciate you doing a fantastic job. We very much appreciate it. Thank you. Let me begin today by addressing the horrific shooting in Sutherland, Texas. Our thoughts and prayers are with the victims and families of today's.
That's the feed I'm getting from CNN, unfortunately.
Occurred as the victims and their families were in their place of sacred worship. We cannot put into words the pain and grief we all feel, and we cannot begin to imagine the suffering of those who lost the ones they.
Oh boy.
Broken, But in dark times, and these are times such as these, Americans do what they do best. We pull together. We join hands, we lock arms, and through the tears and through the sadness, we stand strong, oh so strong. My administration will provide its full support to the great state of Texas and all local authorities investigating this horrible crime. I've spoken just a few minutes ago with Governor Abbott, and we offer our thanks to the first responders, the FBI, all of the many people involved, both federal and otherwise. Ultimately, they stopped the suspect and rendered immediate life-saving aid to certain victims of the shooting. I will continue to follow the developments closely. All of America is praying to God to help the wounded and the families of the victims. We will never, ever leave their side, ever. With that being said, we are here today in Japan with one of our closest and most cherished allies. Through bad times and good times, through rain and through shine, I want to thank.
Through rain and through shine? You gotta be kidding me. Who's writing his speeches? I think that was CNN just went out. Something. There we go.
Okay, obviously technical problems right now with this satellite feed. This is a pool feed, so you're getting what everybody else is getting, unfortunately. If
Did you see how it faded out?
Continued to address the nation, to address also the region as he is visiting Japan and many other countries along this 13-day Asian trip. I think we have a little bit more now. I think we've established, guys. Is that correct?
She's become a very, very popular First Lady, I can tell you that. Whenever I speak, they have hundreds of signs out in the audience. We love our First Lady, which is so true. Thank you. And our warmest admiration for this ancient culture. It's an ancient culture, and its customs are ancient, and it's terrific. Over the weekend, Ivanka attended the World Assembly.
Okay, we will continue to monitor the president's remarks as he is again continuing on his trip.
Even they were bored.
And we'll be meeting with...
Japan is terrific. Funny. I'm bringing you guys all the news. That was Donald Trump talking. He's still on Fox.
The Assembly for Women with Prime Minister Abe, who I was with all day yesterday.
I can't believe I have to get behind Trump now.
Prime Minister.
I'm not really. We're about to go to war with Iran, by the way, as far as I can tell.
For his dedication to advancing women in the workforce.
Okay, all right. That's why the government of Saudi Arabia, we supported the guy that's most anti-Iran. There's somebody from the UK who wants to call in. I have a UK phone number right here. So I'll open that line. I have to open Skype. I'll wait for that call. The thing is this guy bin Salman, the guy that we're in bed with, the guy that Jared Kushner went to meet recently, the guy that this article in The Independent says Trump and Prince Mohammed bin Salman are the most dangerous men in the world, and that them meeting each other means war with Iran is imminent. And that's who just was helped. That's just who is consolidating power right now. There's a false flag attack. It seems most likely a rocket intercepted on the way to the airport in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, because Trump also supports the Saudi effort in Yemen, which is against Iranian influence, the Houthi rebels, and Hezbollah. I'm letting that UK caller call if that UK caller wants to. I'm giving you a second. I'm getting notes that you're interested in calling. So, and people will tell you that I don't. Oh, you know what I can do? I can. Oh, Trump's still on, but he was boring the crap out of us, right? Let me see. Hold on.
Fantastic job you've done in building some of the greatest companies in the world, and it's an honor to be working with you. We want to thank and make the United States, for the people in this room and well beyond this room, the most attractive place
there's a stretcher.
for you to hire,
there's a stretcher. Oh,
invest, and to grow.
This is Nathan. You're on the
That's
air.
why we are very, very substantial.
Hey, what's up?
Hi, it's Steve.
Hey, Steve.
We've met before.
Yeah, what's up, Steve?
I just wanted to try and give a little bit of an overview. We seem to be trounced down by shite.
Trounced down by shite. We have to translate that for my U.S. audience.
Okay, it's like we're covered in shit.
Yes, okay. Just I figured it out. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, and what we need to do is transcend and try and see where the shit comes from.
Okay.
And it's really the theatre bizarre.
It is strange.
Yeah, and if ever it was a calling, Nathan, for you to engage your audience to try and get a message out and try and get more people to wake up, the time is now. That's
all I can figure. I'm doing what I can.
Yeah, I understand. That's why I'm trying to give you words of encouragement.
I appreciate that, Steve.
It's a difficult situation, and a lot of people. And please forgive me. I got a little bit. It was awkward being held in Las Vegas for so long.
Right.
Yeah?
Right.
It was like I was on a missed flight, and every day was killing me because it was so obvious.
Right. Right.
And this is so obvious.
Right.
And everything is so obvious, but everyone is trying to be so politically correct. You know, it's a Zionist operation. It's you look at who surrounds Trump. It's a very difficult thing to try and work out. Have you seen the guy who does the coded messages? Polarization.
Oh, Polarization Nation. I think he's probably a shill, but if his channel still exists, especially. But I haven't looked into that. No, I haven't looked into what he does.
No, he's really thinking. I tried to sink into his thinking.
Yeah.
And I used Jimmy Savile as a thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I came up with, and this is all true, Jimmy as evil. That's how you can spell his last name. And he created the first show of popular music called Top of the Pops, which, if you look at inversion, it was held in a church. There's no better inversion than holding something like that in a church. And also, it was in a place called Rush Home. And the road he was on was called Dick in Sun.
Mm-hmm. Weird. I don't know.
Yes.
I got it.
I know it is weird, isn't it?
Right.
And there's like, if you look into his stuff, there's weird stuff there. But it seems the weird stuff seems to run true.
Right. I don't know. I understand what you're saying. I don't get all the connections, but I hear where you're coming from.
No, I don't either. I don't either. Right. But sometimes if you just let yourself free a little bit and just go down a few different levels,
right,
then you do start to see connection. And also, it was the same place, Manchester, where Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels observed the working class to write the Communist Manifesto for the Communist Party that hadn't even been started.
Right.
And I'm not trying to be rude, but we are on the 100th anniversary of the Bolshevik Revolution.
Oh, really?
Russia, which is financed by Warburg.
You're losing me, man. I know you're going somewhere. I can't follow. But yeah, but I think.
No. What I'm trying to say is we're involved in the 100th anniversary of the Bolshevik Revolution,
right?
Where 60 million people died,
right?
Yeah, and they were Christian people that died.
Oh, I see.
The Holodomor.
Okay.
We look at the Holodomor, yeah, in the Ukraine, 12 million died, yeah, but nothing is said. and we're living in ludicrous times again, but we are not allowed to really say the direction of where the assault is coming from.
True that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to say.
No, I got you.
Everything's in front of us. Everything's in front of us.
Yes.
It really is. Well, I'll cut short because I just wanted to say thank you for the T-shirt. I got it. It looks very nice. I wore it out for a family occasion the other week.
Oh, great. Awesome.
Yeah. And thanks for the show.
All right.
And tonight's been really interesting.
Yeah, I think so too.
A quick hello to my Belgian friend who I was talking to on Discord. Okay.
All right.
Care.
Cheers, Steve. Didn't understand a word he was saying today. Not because of the accent, just because I didn't get it today. Not today. Oh, there's Doshi. Did you guys see? I was going to show you my garage too, but that's my cat. He runs the show. He's the one who told me to go live today. He was like, big news day. He normally sits up on this thing, but today, not today. The sun, I might have to turn on my light. Okay. I'm going to answer. Oh, man. This is Nathan. You're on the air.
Hey, man. How's it going?
Going great.
Well, I was calling you up to talk about the Devin Kelly guy.
Yeah. Go ahead. You got intel?
Yeah. So what I found interesting is that when the shooting broke, the news did, Facebook tore down his Facebook page, but it was archived. So if you wanted to, you could dig through it, and it's pretty interesting looking at his liked pages and his interests.
Yeah, I would love to do that. How can I find it archived though? It's always weird. Like you have to be logged in.
Yeah, I can send you a link to it. I've been sending you some interesting stuff too on Gmail.
Okay.
As Snatch Duster.
Okay. Let me look.
Take a look through that chat. Keep in mind too. So he liked a bunch of atheist groups.
Oh.
Some like San Antonio gun store and pawn shop.
Okay.
Nothing too crazy there for a normal interest for like somebody who's kind of weird. But the atheism was interesting to me, and also he's a big fan of lewd lollies, which is kind of odd.
What's the name? What kind of bullies?
Lewd lollies. You know, like anime girls, like children.
Oh no, I
underage.
didn't know about that.
And he liked, like sexualization of them.
Huh. Oh wow, I didn't know that. Here we go.
Yeah,
looks like
dude seemed pretty sick.
Really interesting. Okay, I'm looking at a 4chan thing about him. I'll see if I can find anything archived from Facebook. That's what I'm looking for what you're talking about.
You also find him on Twitter. He even had a LinkedIn profile.
Okay, he did. Okay, and those are all down now?
Well, the Facebook one is down.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, great.
Yeah, and just letting you know you can take a look at that stuff.
Okay.
Keep the good work up, man.
Thanks, man. Thanks. I'll try to find what you're talking about and see if I can show it on here. Okay, cool.
Sure thing.
Thanks for the tip.
All right.
Okay, cheers. Okay, that was cool. That was cool. I'm trying to see if I can find anything. Mediate. They sometimes have stuff. Here. Okay. Here we go. I closed down the phones for the moment just to show you guys some news. This is from Mediaite. Mediaite, I think is how they go. Devin Patrick Kelly, who for some reason hasn't been identified. Like at the press conference, they said not identified. Yet everybody is identifying it. Served in the Air Force, taught a Bible study class. His mother-in-law has a Sutherland Springs P.O. box, unconfirmed. He was killed in a brief chase. Uncleared if he was killed by police. Well, he wasn't killed by police. Roughly a week ago, he posted this. She's a bad bitch about his gun, which is on a nice leather sofa. Death toll is expected to climb. At least 27. That was early on. Somebody said they heard grabbed his rifle. Yeah. Huh. I don't have much of this. Can't find anything with this Facebook thing. I'm looking at more stuff. Oh, did I show you my screen? Oh, yeah, I did. Okay. I was looking here. Oops. Do I have it up there? Devin Patrick Kelly, who is the Sutherland Springs church shooter, with photos. He started shooting from outside the church. Oh, it says one of the victims has been named as a 6-year-old boy named Rylan, who was shot 4 times. So there may be 50 people inside the church, and we have at least 51 victims, as far as I can tell. Every single person. Sutherland Springs is a small town of about 362 people east of San Antonio. And 50 people were inside a Baptist church and got shot somehow. 26 or 25 died. They said 20 shots, though, somebody heard. Shooter was reported to have been taken down, but details of his takedown were not yet released. He wasn't taken down. Apparently, he was hit by a resident. Telemundo reported the shooter was from another country. Wasn't true, apparently. Oh, some guy. Okay. An earlier report made on air by a store employee named Carey said that a man named Chris Ward was behind the attack. This was proven to be incorrect. Ward was later identified as a victim of the attack, along with his family. How weird is that?
From what we understand from neighbors is that his name is Chris Ward, and apparently he shot his whole family first. Okay, we're...
You hear that? This was reported earlier.
Find one shooter, or the shooter. From what we understand from neighbors is that his name is Chris Ward, and apparently he shot his whole family first. Okay, we're...
Weird. That's pretty weird. So... Chris Ward apparently shot his whole family first. Apparently he and his family were there. Here. Family saying Chris Ward and his family are victims of the shooting, not the perpetrator. That's what a journalist says. This guy, Carmine Sabia. Is there some, like, hashtag for this? Oh, wow. Lone Wolf, history of mental illness. That's what we're anticipating. That picture must be from when he was 18 or something, right? Lots of news, prayers for, et cetera, et cetera. The sheriff was really, really weird. Richie from Boston has been terminated, by the way. Richie from Boston. Terminated. Now there's Richie from Boston 2. He made a video about targeted individuals. And he's made a bunch of videos. I mean, holy crap. So, Richie from Boston, I had to report on that. For people who watch like truth videos and stuff, he was pretty big. If you like stuff about chemtrails or weather modification or the Boston bombings, he's back on Richie from Boston 2. Richie from Boston II. I am likewise targeted and off YouTube mostly. This is a backup channel. Please subscribe. We'll get our numbers back up. What was I going to show you? I'm going to show you that. Oh, here, pictures of the car.
You know, really and truly, I think they're pretty much in shock. They're trying to normalize their lives a little bit as they're drinking water. They're having a piece of pizza, that kind of thing in the community center. You know, a lot of people have come to bring food and drink just to help them through it. But there's a lot of them are sitting there kind of on pins and needles, kind of waiting to see what the authorities are going to tell them about their loved one because they don't know. So there's some sobriety, a lot of that probably here.
Pastor Mike Clemens, thank you very much. We appreciate your time. Thoughts and prayers are with you and everybody in that region tonight.
You're so welcome, and thank you for calling.
Thank you. Much more ahead. Up next, we'll talk with a former FBI special agent about the federal response to this shooting, so stay with us. This is the special CNN live coverage.
We know you're going to have a lot of questions.
I'm going to play the sheriff one more time. That's so far the part that interests me the most. The sheriff. Not everybody can pull these things off. There we go. Let's see. He has a really interesting part of this press conference.
Whose jurisdiction the crime occurred and whose jurisdiction we're in right now.
Thank you, Governor. Thank you for your kind words. We all in here know what happened today, and it's something we all say does not happen in small communities. Well, we found out today it does. We need your support. You know, as media, don't blow it out there that, you know, it should have never happened, because it does happen. And we sincerely feel sorry for all of the people that are involved. We don't know names of any of the victims at this time because we're still trying to work the crime scene. As we get the names, we're going to be contacting family members and letting them know what we have. But at this time, we don't have any names of any of the victims. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is the district.
Corps, you brought us better processes and a smarter way to hire. And looking around, I guess it worked. So thank you for improving the lives of each person you've hired, including
All right, I'll take calls again. 650 gay taxi. We'll see if anything else develops. Think it might be over though, the news. Now I have to rest up for tomorrow. Probably. But thanks for tuning in. Thanks for subscribing. We're going to keep bringing the news every single day from this garage. Every single day as long as we can. I did over 12 hours yesterday. It's amazing that I'm still sitting here. What was I going to show you? You don't remember? Oh, let me open the phone if I'm going to take calls. I have to actually open the phone. I can't just post the number and then pray. Donate for oh, I was going to show you my garage. Just in case you don't believe me. This is Nathan. You're on the air.
Hey, Nathan.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, so this is the first time I'm calling you.
I appreciate it.
All right. Let me mute my TV because I don't know. I'm getting some feedback here. Hold on. So what I would like to tell you is why are these attacks happening only on Sundays?
When was the concert also on Sunday?
Yes. So this is since Las Vegas attack. All these attacks are happening on Sunday. Last week we saw the New York drama.
Oh, right. Halloween.
Right. So that was my first question. And the second thing is, I know you're trying to figure out, and so am I, trying to figure out what's happening in Saudi Arabia. To be honest with you, I think it's a bit complicated. This guy is a maverick. He's out of control.
Bin Salman, you mean?
Bin Salman.
Yeah.
Yes. He's obviously is the one who created war in Yemen, and he's definitely playing in the hands of Zionists. And he's a complete tool, and he's probably the perfect guy to execute a war with Iran.
Right.
So if there is going to be a war, this is a guy. So And just another thing I was thinking, that there's only 2 countries left in that area that has some sort of infrastructure left, and that's Saudi Arabia and Iran. And I think after this war, you'll have the entire region completely, back to Stone Ages.
Yeah. Well, I think you would. Yeah. I mean, that's the first thing I was thinking, is that this guy is the kind of guy that would start a war with Iran, sort of, and Trump might be the kind of guy to do the same thing.
Right. So I'm still not 100% sure exactly where Trump stands, especially when it comes from the Zionist point of view. I don't know if they control him fully. I don't know if they're trying to control him. I don't know if he's given him, given in some places and not given in other places. He's really hard to figure out, for me at least. But at least, but he definitely gets played into their hand every time they want to, especially in the international arena.
You mean when you say they, you mean Zionists?
Yes, I mean Zionists. Right. If, for example, every time, for example, when he was having lunch with Chinese prime minister or the president, and he ordered a Tomahawk cruise missile attack in Syria, out of a news, based on a news that was not confirmed. So that was pretty odd for a guy who keep saying for the last 3 years that he would never go to war, and then on a dinner table he executes this kind of operation. So it was still, I was not sure exactly how, so some things he's playing with them. I think he has some sort of setting with them that, okay, I'll play in some situations, but I would not play in others. That's how I think.
You think in terms of playing with the Zionists, again, with the Zionist agenda, is that?
Right. With Zionist has 2 prone agenda, obviously, one for the bigger world and one for United States, right? Yes. So, he may hinder their agenda in the United States for a while, or as long as he can. But I think, but outside the United States, I think he's pretty much playing on their line. I think whatever they want, that's what's happening.
And you think the Zionist agenda then is open war with Iran through proxies, if possible?
Through proxies. I mean, that's pretty much whether it's going to happen through false flag, whether it's going to happen through this new president or the new king. But it's going to happen, and that's going to be devastating for the entire region. It's not going to be good for the United States anyway. I mean, we don't want more wars. But again, what I was just keep thinking is that since Las Vegas, all these attacks are happening on Sunday. It's like, people have not much to do on Sunday, especially at this time of the day. They're probably trying to put kids on the bed for the school. And, every week we have these kind of attacks.
What's your theory? What do you think? You asked me what I thought about them happening on Sundays. I don't know. Could be because everybody's home and it's a great time to get people scared, just like doing attacks around Christmas. But what do you think? Do you have a theory behind it?
Well, the theory for me, I remember the 9/11. Okay, and 9/11 was pretty much the same way. There was attacks. There was a pattern of attacks that were happening. All right, and then we had 9/11 happen. Right. So these kind of things usually lead to something way bigger. Right. That's what scares me, honestly.
Right. I guess that's what I would be worried about too. If something way bigger might happen. Yeah.
Right. Because it's just too. I mean, these patterns are too. They're too obvious. Even the last New York. I still haven't seen much videos from that attack. I don't know exactly what has happened. This guy looks completely delusional, as if he's on drugs. He's walking out with the BB gun like, for God's sake,
Right.
This doesn't.
Right.
So I wish the best for this country. I wish nothing bad happens, but Trump is an even though he's a liar, but I always feel that he's good for what he wants to do for this country. But I think at the end of the day, he gets played into their hand, one way or another.
Right.
That's what my analysis is so far. Like his intentions have been good for this country, obviously, but he gets into their hand one way or another.
Right, right. You know? Yeah. I think there's something there. I mean, his whole family's Jewish for one thing. But besides that, it seems like he goes along with that pro-Zionist agenda to basically take over the Middle East, you know, even Syria, you know.
Yeah, I don't mind if his family is Jewish. I mean, the Zionist is not Jewish, and Jewish means these Saudis are more Zionists than the Jewish, you know, that some of the Jews I know, right? So that has nothing to do with Jews or Christians or Muslims. Zionism is Zionism, and whoever plays their game is Zionist to me. What I'm trying to say is that, you know, if you look at from the very beginning, from the terms when he started, if you look at it, how they started the political assassination. First, Michael Flynn was gone, right? So one by one, they took out the people who had real understanding of the matter. Right. Okay, they may be outspoken, but they were right in their analysis, right? You know, I'm from that background. I'm from the Muslim background, and I understand, you know, what they say. But you know, they were what they were saying is correct, and they had a right approach to fix it. So they took out all these people. So now what we're left with is his economic secretary, his finance secretary, Goldman Sachs guys are basically in the administration. I mean, if you look at who's left around him, are Goldman Sachs.
Right. As far as the financial side and everything, and then the military on the other side.
And the Secretary of State who's really good and powerful, he's been sidelined. Like, I don't think nobody listens to him.
Right. Well, he doesn't agree with Trump on everything, like North Korea, for example, where Trump wants to invade, basically. It sounds like.
Right. Anybody who has any kind of, you know, intellect or any kind of understanding and this kind of stature, especially like, you know, Tillerson, you know, he would not agree with Trump on everything.
Right.
But so you can see that he's been sidelined since then.
Right.
And the people, you know, even if you look at the people who are running his agenda right now, is basically the Goldman Sachs guys. So
right.
And the funny thing is, today the papers came out, and nobody has actually mentioned in U.S. media. There was a news on BBC about those you know, tax evasion, you know, leak, and his economic secretary. I don't know. I can't remember his name. Cohen. Well, I don't know what's his name.
Gary Cohen.
Gary Cohen, yeah, and his name is in the front lines on that matter. He's a front guy, you know, about how to hide this money. So.
Really? Yeah. Right. Well, it's interesting if they start exposing people for this money laundering and stuff. I mean, everybody's guilty probably in Washington, and especially these financial guys, these Goldman Sachs guys. I mean, who knows how many crimes they're tied up in themselves? You know.
Right. So thank you for taking my call. This is the first time I called, but
thanks for calling.
Like I said, you know, things are not always black and white. It's always like, you know, and they're not always global. They're always sometimes they happen in their own regions and for own reasons. So you can't really, you know, we have to take every situation and say, okay, what's happening here and what's happening here.
Right. Things are rarely black and white. Not always, right? So yeah, well, we'll keep an open mind about everything and just try to zero in on what might be real.
All right, thank you. Keep up the good work.
Thank you very much. Thanks for the call. Cheers.
We love you.
Oops, he said we love the show. Damn, shouldn't cut him off. By the way, the Pentagon also released a report today. Speaking of North Korea, only a ground invasion can destroy the North Korean nuclear program. For some reason, they announced this today. Feinstein says she is very pleased Tillerson is with Trump in Asia, whatever that means. President said he is prepared to meet Kim Jong-un. These are all new. This is all new. After a top Pentagon official said the only way to destroy North Korea's nuclear weapons program would be through a ground invasion, a senior Senate Democrat urged the Secretary of State Rex Tillerson to stay the course and achieve a diplomatic solution to the crisis, in spite of Donald Trump's unpredictable behavior and threats of military action. Feinstein excited that Tillerson is there to keep him in check. Trump threw himself through a characteristic wild card into the mix, saying he would certainly be open to meeting the North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. There was something released today, said they would have to do a ground invasion. Great. Are the American people ready for that? I don't think so. Wait till the South Korean or the North Korean dirty bomb false flag for that. I've had the opportunity. I believe an outbreak of war would kill hundreds of thousands of people, says Feinstein. Wow, it's so weird. So weird. Okay, I'll open up for calls a little more. Thanks for tuning in today. Thanks for listening to my show. Subscribe. We're going to do shows like this all the time. Did I show you my garage? I did, right? I did for a second. You guys maybe missed it. It was during the phone call. It's true. Oh, buy a t-shirt at lifttheveil411.com. Lifttheveil411.com. We're posting more gear on there. I don't want you to wait, but I need to post the rest of the stuff. Coffee mugs, stickers, and another, and the reverse of this. All limited edition. Every single thing will never be made again because I have that many designs in my head. I have 20 Doshi designs. 5 what it is designs. Okay. Oh, this might be a prank call. Let's see. This is Nathan. You're on the air.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing great. How are you?
Pretty good.
What's up?
You've been having a good weekend, haven't you?
Good weekend? I don't know. I mean, I've been given news. I don't know about good. I've been happy to be able to bring information to people though. How about you?
Yeah, but pretty good. Thanks. No, but just usually you don't stream all weekend. It was nice to see you on a Saturday.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I thought it was big news, so I thought I'd show up, and a number of new people listened and were happy to hear a different kind of perspective than everywhere else. So it's rewarding that way.
Do you think you're going to make a big comeback on YouTube?
I don't know. Everybody's I don't know how to stay on YouTube. I don't know what to do with these shows once they're over. I don't know whether to put it on unlisted or because I don't know what they ban you for. So I don't know. If they let me keep this channel and the news stays like this, then yeah, I'll make a big comeback. But otherwise, Twitch is going to have to be the thing because, if they hit me with a strike, then it's another channel. I don't know that I have another. I'm going to do another channel. I have one ready, but it's just it takes so long to build an audience because whenever your subscribers get taken down, it's just your audience gets cut in a third, and it takes months and months to get back to where you were. I had 30,000 subscribers at one point. Every show I did got 7,500 views. And then they got rid of the channel. So. Yeah,
it's got to be frustrating to have to rebuild that every time.
Yeah, that's the thing.
If you can't stream for 90 days, and what you do is live streaming, then
right.
Yeah, YouTube's got to be frustrating.
Yeah, it's frustrating. But I'm happy to be bringing the news, and it seems like stuff's going on. So.
Well, yesterday there wasn't like violent Antifa riots, but I don't think that what happened wasn't insignificant.
Right.
That there was the big refuse fascism protests, which and you got to break the Saudi stuff, which is pretty important. There's going to be a deeper story there, and you're kind of digging into that today, and that's pretty important.
It looks like it.
And you get to see this Texas stuff develop, which they're already starting to mess with the story, and man, that press conference was pretty amazing with some of the statements they made.
Pretty weird.
After some things, nothing really amazes me, but just the amount of times they said that they weren't going to be able to provide a lot of information or details. You know, that's something they repeated several times. And, you know, number one priority and goal is to victims and their families. You know, just, it was just that same old show, I guess.
Seems familiar. Seems familiar.
Yeah, seems real familiar. And the white male that they weren't going to identify, but, you know, it's been leaked already, and, you know, it's in papers, all that stuff. You know, it's all familiar.
Yeah. Well, what do you think's going on in the world? I mean, what do you think? This is the beginning of something? Do you think things are unraveling a little bit, or has the temperature been turned up, or what?
Yeah, this is, you know, man, we just had a truck attack days ago. You know,
right.
Things are just going to accelerate until that fear that's required is finally achieved. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. Especially with people calling in yesterday saying they were really genuinely afraid of things happening. One woman saying she was worried about people coming into her house, and just because the Antifa stuff or these, you know, it's really upsetting to hear people are in fear from the propaganda and these different events, making, you know, intentionally making people afraid. It's upsetting that people feel that way.
It is, and I really, it's disheartening to hear that, and to think that people are out there thinking that and feeling that.
Yeah.
Because you know, when the people are in fear, and when people are divided, that's when society is easiest to control.
Right.
And it means it's working to hear these people calling in and say this. So.
Right. Well, hopefully, you know, I've been hearing a lot of people not so divided, though. That's the good news. At least people have been calling in and stuff. Aren't blaming one side or the other side for the situation we're in.
Yeah.
So that's good.
I think the majority of people, I mean, if you ask Americans, you know, would you like people to be treated equally, the majority of people would say yes.
Right.
I think we're all kind of united in our Americanness to work together.
Right.
I'll let you go. You have a good show. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Cool, man. Thanks for the call. Cheers. I'm just showing what's on the TV. Maybe I'll check in. I don't know. Let me see. I'm running out of energy, and tomorrow might be a busy day. So
this act of hatred, and we'll stand with the survivors as they recover. May God also grant us the wisdom to ask what concrete steps we can take to reduce the violence and weaponry in our midst. And we should point out, Rick, that there have already been some calls from the Democratic side to again revisit the issue of gun control. Some people on the Democratic side saying how many people have to die before Congress takes up this issue. It doesn't look like anything is going to happen in terms of, you know, return to the 1990s and the assault weapon ban, though there did seem to be support after the Las Vegas shooting for banning those so-called bump stocks that allow a semi-automatic weapon to fire at almost automatic rate. We don't know much about the weapon that this person in Sutherland Springs had in their possession, and whether or not it was simply a semi-automatic rifle or if it had been modified with one of those bump or slide fire stocks. The president will be spending the rest of today in Tokyo. Much of that time will be with the Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. They're going to be talking about trade. They're going to be talking about North Korea as well, as the president tries to get even more pressure ramped up on North Korea to give up its nuclear program. The president, in addition, will be meeting with the family members of Japanese citizens who were abducted by North Korea, and he will also pay a visit to Emperor Akihito and Empress Michiko at the Royal Palace today. And then the president will wrap up his day before heading to Seoul, South Korea, with a press conference, Rick. So we expect that the president will take more questions about the situation as it unfolds in Texas later on today. Rick?
And, John, we did hear some comments about the economy and about trade deals, and real quick, that's going to be a big focus for the president for the next few days too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the big reasons why
Okay, so I pulled up an article from The Hill. Dems renew calls for gun control in wake of Texas church shooting. Bob Casey Jr., Dick Durbin, and Kamala Harris. Bob Casey, in addition to offering my prayers and thoughts, I also believe Congress must take action on gun violence. Dick Durbin, shooter turned his gun on people, kids in a place of worship. America is in the grips of a gun violence crisis. Congress must act. Richard Blumenthal says enough is enough. Now is the time for common sense gun violence prevention steps. Congressional complicity must end. Kamala Harris, senseless gun violence has torn apart another community, this time in a house of worship. When do we say enough is enough? Dianne Feinstein, I'm horrified by the latest mass shooting. My thoughts are with those. Okay. She didn't say anything. Mike Thompson, sickened by yet another mass shooting, leaving people dead and injured. Enough. Congress must muster the courage to help prevent gun violence. Chris Murphy released a lengthy statement in which he called on his colleagues in Congress to hold themselves accountable. Quote, ask yourself, how can you claim that you respect human life while choosing fealty to weapons makers over support for measures favored by the vast majority of your constituents, unquote. Okay. So it's 5 p.m. in California, some other time where you are, perhaps. I've been here for about 3.5 hours looking at this. I don't think there's going to be any more news about it. I've taken a lot of great phone calls, but I have to make sure that I'm available to do a show tomorrow. So I'm going to thank everybody for tuning in. I just have a feeling the news is going to continue to develop. Keep your eyes on Saudi Arabia. Buy your t-shirts. Did I show you that? I'll show you that. It's better with a visual. lifttheveil411.com. You heard Steve call in and say he got his and he liked it. That's lifttheveil411.com. I'm going to get one of these white ones. That'll be on the website momentarily. Meanwhile, the first edition t-shirt, stamped, numbered, signed, shipped to you. I have an order going out tomorrow. Sold out in some sizes, perhaps. Get yours while they last. First edition, signed, numbered, stamped. Not the shirt itself, a thing that comes with it. I put work into it. Let's see. I might have some other piece of news. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. Just more 4chan stuff. He liked some, whatever. It's nothing too important. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what I can do with these episodes. I don't know. I might not be able to leave this up. If not, then the whole thing will be available on twitch.tv/lifttheveil411. You can support me besides getting t-shirts at paypal.me/lifttheveil, patreon.com/lifttheveil. You can find me on Twitch. Link up your Amazon Prime to your Twitch account because it's run by Amazon. It's owned by Bezos. And you can subscribe to my channel, subscribe rather than follow, and then apparently I get money from it. So I don't know how it works. Okay. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. I'm going to be sad to see you go, but I'll see you back here tomorrow. So remember to subscribe, remember to like, and remember to remember me, Lift the Veil. You can always search for me that way. Okay? Thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of your evening. Remember your clocks went backwards yesterday. So don't be you'll be early to work if you don't set your clock back. And that's the last thing you want, is to be at your job an hour before you have to be. I can tell you that from experience. Thanks, everybody. See you tomorrow.